866-844-7344. 866-844-7344.
A once thriving farming community on the outskirts of Haiti's capital is the latest target of gang violence, with residents attacked and their homes burned to the ground.
Wails filled the air in Penskov as survivors found the bodies of friends and family strewn on the streets. One man flung himself on the side of the road and cried as people around him picked up bodies wrapped in blood-spattered sheets. Robert Jean says he heard shooting before dawn and tried to wake everyone up, only to find out his brother was killed. The mayor blames the attack on members of Vive Ensemble, which the U.S. government designates as a foreign terrorist organization. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The Kremlin is condemning Britain's plans to share data on long-range missile technology with Ukraine and to help Ukraine with missile production. Same time, Russia has turned to its allies, including North Korea and China, for support as it continues waging war on Ukraine. Townhall.com. Australia's recording industry says tracks wholly generated by AI will be barred from official music charts. The move comes as the burgeoning technology threatens the livelihoods of artists. An AI-infused song recently spent 16 weeks on the charts in Australia. Well, it's that time of year again.
Of course, we're referring to everyone's favorite time of the year, Fat Marmot Week. Now, last winter, it was a tough time for the little groundhog-like rodents in the Colorado mountains. Some of them froze to death, sorry to say, but the survivors are doing well. They've really fattened up. No Weight Watchers for them, gaining the critical weight they need to make it through the next winter. Marmot researchers, yes, there really are people who are marmot researchers, are launching an online contest just so you can vote for your very favorite marmot. Jason Walker reporting.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
I spent my career building a business, but I couldn't stand by while Washington spent money it didn't have. So I got in the fight, and I never forgot who elected me. This election is about the America we pass on to your family and mine. We inherited freedom. Now it's our turn to defend it, to strengthen it, and to leave America stronger than we found it. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman, and I approve this message.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
People are out there saying, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
August 17th. Big changes are coming to the John. Carson staying put at noon to 3. Michael Patrick Leahy moves to 3 o'clock, followed by Cats and Cosby at 5. America's new boss for conservative talk is the John Fredericks Media Network.
Wagering at its finest, playing at the highest levels, under the highest stakes for more than a decade. This is the world Past the Wire has conquered, bringing you uncompromised thoroughbred authority and elite track data that anchors the game. But the modern wagering landscape is expanding. Every sport, every line, every prop, and every high-leverage future, we decode the metrics across the entire board. From game day spreads to the explosive new frontier of prediction markets and event contracts, we give you intelligence to dominate the modern financial exchanges. Because in the end, it's a battle. You versus the house. You versus the other players. In this arena, we fight with you. We are your ultimate edge. Welcome to the Ultimate Wagering Network. Subscribe to Past the Wire TV and turn on notifications, because when the dust settles,
nobody does it better.
Saturday morning, 6 on the radio, 11 on JFMN.TV. Good morning, and thank you for waking up with us on this Tuesday.
Today will not be known as Taco Tuesday. It will be known as Freedom Friday. But still on a Tuesday.
August 25th here on the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Mike Coleman, filling in for your favorite host, Dan Hobgood. He's out there with John Fredericks in South Carolina. And now, I'm going to get your day started off with the weather. I don't have the Dan Hobgood report, but I do have a report to give to you. And then outside the box with the ox. But first, let's start with the weather. Bringing you today's weather update is the Godzilla Wins radio show for the best insight, analysis, and picks. Watch and listen to Godzilla Wins Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to GodzillaWins.com. Once again, that's GodzillaWins.com. And you can watch it on your Roku and Fire Stick, and also JFMN.TV. Now, starting in Richmond, today is going to reach a high of 84 degrees and partly sunny. Tonight is going to reach a low of 60 and clear skies. Currently, it is 62 degrees. In Washington, D.C., today is going to reach a high of 85 degrees with plenty of sun. And tonight's going to reach a low of 62 degrees. Right now, it's 64 and mostly clear skies. In Philadelphia, today's going to be mostly sunny as well, reaching a high of 80 degrees. Tonight, a low of 62 and clear skies. Right now, it is 63 degrees. In Pittsburgh, today's going to reach a high of 79, but it's going to feel like 83 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 60. Currently, it is 64 degrees. In Morgantown, today's going to reach a high of 79. And tonight, a low of 56 is going to be mostly clear tonight. Currently, it is 56 degrees outside. In Nashville, today's going to reach a high of 91, but it's going to feel like 97. Tonight, a low of 64 and partly cloudy. Currently, it is 66 degrees. And finally, we are in Atlanta. It's going to be hot today, reaching a high of 92, but it's going to feel like 99 degrees. Tonight, a low of 72 and partly cloudy. Currently, it is 68 degrees. That's your weather update here on the John Fredericks Media Network. Now, time for the Mike Coleman Report. I really don't have anything. Just enjoy today's show. Up next, Outside the Box with the Ox.
From the Minnesota AG, quote, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison and Ramsey County Attorney John Choi announced today that they have secured agreements and injunctions in complaints they filed against 2 gangs and 10 individuals for threats they allege the gangs pose to the safety of Minnesotans attending the upcoming state fair, close quote.
The Furies, the Boppers, the Hi-Hats, the Lizzies, and these are the Warriors.
Violent Somali gangs feared to cause trouble at the Great Minnesota Get-Together
Testing,
starting
Thursday.
1, 2, 3.
All
the King's horses and all the King's men have figured out the solution. His name is Cyrus, and he has a plan to unite all the violent gangs of the city.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
No, not really. Instead, Ellison told them he knows who they are and that they caused trouble before. And if they promise to not go near the fair this year, he'll overlook their previous violations. Issuing a press release outlining the deal, Ellison has a parade for himself, saying, quote, "Civil law is a tool we can and should use to help prevent crimes before they happen, and that's what we've done here. Yes, we can all be grateful he figured out how to give today's gangs something they want to get them to go terrorize somewhere else during these upcoming 12 days. Thinking outside the box, imagine when the Republican wins that office in November, sitting those same gangs down again ahead of next year's fair.
Let's make a deal.
No, there'll be no deal. Instead,
stop breaking the law, asshole!
Here outside the box with the Ox in the Eastern Time Zone and now in West Virginia on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineers sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next-level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now. John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild.
They want to have aim first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man Jack Nicholson knows can handle the truth, John Fredericks.
Well, you're on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables, coming to you from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Tonight, special show, 6 p.m., actually 6:05 after the news. We're going to be at Ralph Norman headquarters. Actually, Dan Hopgood here with me. Dan, check and see what time the polls close today in North Carolina. If they close at 8, we'll start at 7. So we should probably have checked that out before we make an announcement. So we'll even put it up on the internet. But it's going to be great. We're here for 2 days in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And great to be out. Great to be on the road. Great to be with the people. Great to be with you. Great to have Dan traveling with me the first time. How long have you been here, Dan? A year? 9 months? 6 months. 6 months, right? And first time Dan out. And we let Michael Coleman gain the controls in the captain's chair. in Richmond, and Coleman out here running the camera. Mike, he's doing a pretty good job, actually, running it. How's the camera look there, Mike? You like it? Is it good? You give him an A plus?
Good to me.
Coleman says it's good.
There we go.
All right.
Polls close at 7, by the way. So.
Polls close at 7. Trucks roll at 7. Polls close at 7. Okay, so we'll be there. We'll be live at 6:05 after the news.
Lace them up and nice and tight.
Lace them up and lace them tight. That's right. We got a lot going on today. Great show, but nobody on until 8. So we're going to be taking your calls and all that good stuff. So it's going to be fun. It's also fun getting Coleman in there. I liked him doing the weather. I really enjoyed the brevity of the Mike Coleman report. I really thought that was spot on.
Broke all records.
It broke all records in the brevity. This is a Mike Coleman report. I have nothing to report. Okay, Mike, that was brilliant. We loved that. That made Dan and I laugh so hard. This is a Mike Coleman report. I have nothing to report. Now onto the show. Mike's a man of few words, isn't he?
He is.
Brevity. But
it's like on Monday meetings.
It's like on Monday meetings, he said. Everybody else goes on, and now we get to Mike. Anything up, Mike? No. Everything good? Yep. Then we find out he did 15 things that week and never even told us, which is the way you're supposed to do it, right? I'm only supposed to find out if there's an issue. By the way, Danny's supposed to send me, Mike, just because we do business on the air, we don't have time. Danny's supposed to send me a quote for the equipment he needs for the satellite dish, and then he'll coordinate with you as to what day he gets there. Just FYI, little house cleaning.
Sounds good.
Right on.
Just a heads up. We I put in the backups until Danny's new stuff come in, so we're running in tip top shape till Danny's equipment comes in.
Right. So you got the backup plan, and then when Danny's equipment comes in, then the
I'm
backup.
taking the backup. Yeah, I'm taking the back. Put it in this shit.
Yeah, and then it's a real backup, right? That's why
it's a real backup.
That's why we have backup, right? So, and right now the backup is the front line, little inside baseball guys. We got satellite. We got all these teams coming in, and that kind of overloaded our satellite dish out in the back of the studio. So we had to readjust it, put some new parts in, but it's all good. And I understand that Danny told me that the satellite dish in Fairmont, he said he recommends scrap metal. He doesn't want to ship it. He says it's you can't do anything with it, and he doesn't want it. So that's going to the scrap heap of life. Pasquale deal with that. A tree went down in one of our stations, Dan. I got to tell the story, and then I'll get into all the news, only because it's funny. So this tree goes down, right? It's, I think, in Apollo, right? So it was on the, I guess they call it the easement or the easeway, somebody's driveway. So we got it out of there. Our engineers, well, we got to get tree removal, and we got to get the tree out of there because it's bad for the wires and stuff like that. So we get a quote. It's like $3,500, and Ann is like, okay, this is the chances of doing that. 0 times 0 is 0, so we're not doing it. So then Pasquale says, I just go up there with a chainsaw. Me and Curtis will go up there, and we both have fire pits. So over the next 4 years, we will cut the tree into firewood, and then it'll all be gone. And it's the best firewood because the tree's dead. So I guess if you're into firewood, that's it. So Pasquale's got a fire pit going for the next 4 years. He says that's what they estimated. So you just go up there and cut the tree, and by 2032, it's all gone. Pete spending $3,500. Screw that tree. 7. Okay, lots to talk about today. We're in Rock Hill, South Carolina. You're probably asking for my prediction, right? Who is going to win between Darlene Graham and Ralph? And I'm going to give it to you right now. Ralph Norman's going to win this election. Okay, he's going to win, and let me tell you why. That debate killed Darlene. Now, yesterday, clip here coming up in a minutes. Yesterday, asked about whether or not Trump won the 2020 election. She wouldn't give an answer. Okay, I mean, stop. Right? This person is not going to do anything for us. She's going to lose. Here's the other telltale sign. Trafalgar had a poll that came out today. Mike might have that up. We put it up. He's got it. Trafalgar came up. Richard Kalehi came up with a poll today, and he's got it tied at 48. Now, understand that Robert Kalahe in Trafalgar is basically a Trump-oriented pollster. So if Trump's back in Darlene and they've got this tied, Norman is going to win, right? Norman is going to win tonight. She had to be up by 5 or 6, in my estimation, going into a day because her voters are not motivated. Norman's are. And as Bannon always says, it's about intensity. So I agree with him on that. Don't agree with him on everything about the midterms. I agree with him on that. And the Norman voters are intense and they're pissed and they're coming out. And Norman is going to win tonight. And we're going to be right there, right in the middle of it. As you know, we endorsed him as well. Mike's got that up on screen. This is the Trafalgar poll. Don Graham, 47%. Ralph Norman, 47%. Actually, they're both about 47.9, 47.8. This is a dead heat. According to this poll, a dead heat. I can tell you that death knell for Graham. She had to be up in this thing by 5 in order to win. Ralph Norman's going to win tonight. And we're going to be there. I've endorsed him. We're going to be there at his headquarters, Dan Howard and I, right in the middle of it. So we're excited about that. Lots of other stuff going on. Polls up, phone lines open, 888-480-5646. Now, this is your news analysis station for the truth and clarity right here. You want nonsense? I'm not going to be able to help you. You want the truth to come right here. So thank you for joining us as always. Couple of very interesting things happening yesterday. We'll get to some of these clips here in a minute. Number one, the Supreme Court rules that the United States Postal Service, as of now, does have the right to restrict ballots too. This, if it holds, is a game changer in the midterms. If the Democrats can't cheat, they can't win. Now, a lower court overturned Trump's ruling and said he has no jurisdiction to do that. It's up to the states. The Supreme Court stepped in and said no, but they said you have no standing. So it was kind of a stall ruling. It was 6-3, but it's a good sign. I'd rather win this 6-3 than lose it 5-4, being stabbed in the back again by Amy Coney Barrett, which is always a likely scenario in this situation. But what this means is that until the Supreme Court comes out with a different ruling down the road, which, look, it's August, right? Time is running out. The United States Postal Service, which just gave their new directive, will not mail ballots to voters in states. They will not mail ballots to alleged voters in states if those states have not given their voter registration list to the federal government and to the Department of Justice. They won't mail them. So unless the Democrats send them out, or the Secretary of States want to send them out by FedEx or carrier pigeon, they ain't getting there. So they have to comply. I don't have a problem with mail-in ballots. I like mail-in ballots. I vote by mail. I have no problem with them. No problem with mail-in ballots as long as you request it and they're mailed to you and you're legit. I have no problem with it. Now in DC, you don't have to request it. It comes automatically. When I was in Pennsylvania, that was a better system. You had to request it. But I don't even have a problem with it coming automatically as long as the voters are getting it and they've been cleaned and it's a legit ballot. I don't think it should get mailed to you automatically, but it is what it is. And this ruling by the post office is not saying they're not going to mail ballots out. They're saying unless we have a list that is verified by the Department of Justice that the voter rolls are clean, we're not putting ballots in the mail that we have no idea where the hell they're going. They end up on the counter at a Starbucks, which I've seen actually in 2020. They just laying on the counter. I mean, there was so many of them, they just mailed out. There was no way to verify any of this stuff. Drop boxes all over the place. Look, things a joke. And that was a favorable ruling for us. And if it holds, we're going to win the midterms because they can't win without cheating. This is why they're going crazy. And if you look at the Democrats now, they're in a free fall with this DSA. You look at this guy, Al Sayed. I'm not even going to run these clips about one they're so stupid with Jesse Waters basically ask him if he was circumcised. I mean, the whole thing, these people are bat crap crazy. So this is why I'm still optimistic that we're going to win. Now, the other good news is the Department of Justice, again, rocking and rolling. The Justice Department yesterday revoking, you ready? 150,000 H-1B visas that they said people were scamming the system. So they're revoking them. What that means is get your ass on a plane and get out of my country. That's what it means. That's what the Department of Justice said. Get out of the country because you shouldn't be here. Because what they did is they scammed the visas. They got here under an H-1B visas, and then they went immediately for asylum, which was not the purpose of the visa. So they scammed the visa. So we got 130, said 150, 130,000 of these being revoked by the end of the week. So if you got one of these and you scam the system, you best get a plane ticket and get out. Because otherwise, we're going to find you and deport you because you're here illegally. And you've scammed the system. And we're tired of getting scammed. And we're tired of losing our jobs. We're just tired of the whole thing. Now let's get on to Canada, where we've got Mark Carney and everybody else, right? They're going to screw the U.S., these tariffs. The purpose of the tariffs is to protect our jobs and our industry. I don't know why people don't get this. The purpose of the tariffs isn't a tit for tat. The purpose of the tariffs is not to raise prices. The purpose of the tariffs isn't to screw an ally. When the ally is dumping goods and services in the country under cost because their government subsidizes it to cost us jobs, you have to act. And that is all the president has done. Now, the Democrats are rooting for Canada, just like they're rooting for Iran. That's why you can't put this country back together. They're rooting for Iran. They're rooting for Canada. They're rooting for us to lose. They're rooting against the U.S. worker. They're rooting against us. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Unbelievable. In Washington, D.C. now, I've got one of the council members holding a big rally in order to get people to go to swing states. Well, they're in the middle of election. Well, they're getting people out of the city to go and campaign in swing states from D.C. because there's no Republican Party here. There's no opposition. So basically, they don't have to campaign. They don't have to do squat. So they take their people and they go to Michigan or Maine or North Carolina or Georgia or Atlanta. Unbelievable. We have no party, no system. We don't have a damn thing here in Washington, D.C., and I'm trying to change it. So, got to start somewhere. 888-480-JOHN, you want to weigh in, 888-480-5646. Don't forget, download our free app on TV, jfmn.tv, Google Play or the App Store. You get our TV channel, 6 a.m. right now. You can download it right now. 6 a.m. right through 7 p.m. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. through 3 p.m. on Saturday. Google Play or the App Store, just put in jfmn.tv and boom, you've got our TV channel, network programming, 13 hours a day. You can also get us on Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, and Apple TV, right? So we have our own TV channel. Tell me that's not cool. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? We're rocking and rolling. Can't wait till we launch our new initiatives in Tennessee. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's good to have you with us. Don't forget, we want your calls. You don't call in, well, then Mike Coleman's going to feel like you don't like him anymore. Not good. Not good. He'll be, in fact, if you don't call in, Coleman might be a shell of his former self. Just saying. 888-480-JOHN. We'll be right back live in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I'm going to go get me some 1775 coffee because they got my Keurig ready to go. See you in a minute.
Change lanes. These drivers tend to get angry at others to the point of road rage. What does your driving signal to others? Do you show love and kindness to fellow drivers as the Lord would want you to do? Or do you lose control and take your anger out on others? We are called to be charitable to others even when they don't extend charity to us. I'm Susie Kelly and I am passionately Catholic.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
All right, guys and gals, we get it. You're not logging into GodzillaWins.com for the articles. You want to be a winner. So we stripped it down and made the all-new GodzillaWins.com all about winning. Get winning picks from J-Fred, Coach Vince, and the whole GW posse. You choose the games and Godzilla Wins picks the winners. Easy peasy. Catch the show Saturday mornings, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, and hit the site every day. The all-new GodzillaWins.com. Winners, click here.
The establishment has already picked their candidate. Same old playbook, same old insiders. I'm not their choice. And this election is not for sale. The stakes are too high for political games. The Socialist Democrats are a threat to America. South Carolina needs a proven conservative with a record of fighting for you. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman. I approve this message, and I'm asking for your vote.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Trying to get our 2 boys ready to carry them to golf tournament for practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke, so you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel's like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats. We need more dogs.
You hear a lot about weight loss injections because the results are dramatic, but injections aren't for everyone. So doctors created a new generation weight loss supplement. This is non-prescription lean, and the science behind it is impressive. The studied ingredients in lean are intended to address weight loss in 3 powerful ways: help maintain healthy blood sugar, help control appetite, and help convert fat into energy so you burn it faster.
Get 20% off with discount code Godzilla at takelean.com. Code Godzilla at takelean.com.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep
almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Piers 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep is infuriating. Your mind races, you toss and turn. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created REM sleep to help you quickly fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deep. Unlike other supplements that don't work, REM sleep is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients supporting all 4 stages of sleep. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code Godzilla.
Don't touch that dial. You've found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
All right, you got him back live in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Ralph Norman, Darlene Graham, they square off tonight. Latest poll, Trafalgar's got this race tied. I'm predicting a Norman victory. We'll see what happens. But look, I can do all the talking I want. Talk is cheap. The only thing that matters, the voters coming out today and whatever the early vote was and however that works. But right now, Trafalgar's got it tied 48-48. Anybody's game. But I just think based on this poll, Darlene Graham is in big trouble. I think Norma's going to the U.S. Senate, but we shall see. Still going to win the race in November. Okay, got lots to talk about today. Place your calls. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. If you drink coffee, I love my 1775. Dan Hobgood knows that. I love it. I bring my own Keurig with me when I travel because I'm a Bonvoy person and they don't have Keurigs in the room and they got those little things where you slip in the thing that's disgusting. It's gross. I would never have that. So I got to travel with my mini Keurig. But here's the good news. With my mini Keurig, I can have my 1775 coffee, which I'm about to have right now, which is so good. It's my first sip. Been up for a long time. We're going to get our first sip of 1775. Let me tell you why it's so good. Because it's fresh roasted daily. That's the key. It comes from Bolivia, and it's fresh roasted daily. And because of that, it's so smooth, yet so bold. One of the best coffees I've ever had. And I drink... What do you think, Dan? 6, 7 cups a day? 8?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I got on the plane yesterday after drinking 6 in the office and I got on the plane and, of course, they served me, what do you want, right? And I'm like, coffee. So that was like 5 o'clock at night. So I just love coffee, but I love my 1775. And I just ask everybody, all you got to do is try it one time. It's about quality of life. You're going to love it so much. Plus, it helps our show out. It helps me out. And it helps out you because it's affordable. Just go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla. Boom. You're going to get yourself 10% off. And you try it one time. Oh, we got you. Oh, you're hooked because it's that good. No BS. That good. I drink it every day. So does Joe. Joe had to just ship Joe some. Okay, let's get the cut. One, here's Mike Rogers going to win Michigan, saying that El Syed, the jihadist, the Muslim jihadist that would like Sharia law, and goes on Hassan Piker. By the way, Hassan Piker said he'd like to wipe his ass with the Constitution. That's the show this guy goes on. Hassan Piker, who said we deserve to be hit on 9/11, and the only problem is not enough Americans were killed. This is the guy, this is the show he goes on. And he's campaigning with him. Okay, so it is what it is. Voters have to decide if they want to live under Sharia law or not in Michigan, I guess. But here's Mike Rogers saying that El Syed wants to represent Palestine and I want to represent Michigan. Cut one, take a listen.
El Syed wants to represent Palestine. I want to represent Michigan.
believes the government is the answer. I believe Michiganders are the answer.
All right. Rogers is going to win this race. Any poll that says Elsie has ahead is a fake poll. Mike Rogers is going to win this thing. It's not even going to be close. Let's get the Straits of Hormuz. The Iranians keep saying they control it, but they don't. And here's Pete Hegseth trying to set the record straight on who is controlling the Strait of Hormuz. Cut 2, roll.
On Iran, can you give us the lay of the land? What's our current posture right now with our overseas operations? And what do you hope this threat of economic sanctions will do to Iran?
Well, it was great to see the Treasury Secretary today. We've been in full coordination with him on the economic fury and all the pressure that he can bring to bear. And we know that Iran can't handle it. Ultimately, their economy is in a spiral. They also know that we control the Strait of Hormuz, that our blockade is ironclad, and that oil is flowing through. Ultimately, and you've seen some of the numbers. Iran can't run anything through. We can. The world economy realizes that, and so they made a big bet on controlling it, and they can't. They don't, because of the devastating things our military did to their navy and their ability to sense and see and radars and missiles. They still have some capabilities, but it's nowhere near what it was at all. And so we can protect the shipping going through the straits, and allowing oil to flow. More economic pressure only ensures that Iran really has, the only choice they have is to come to the table and actually talk about their nuclear program, which is what the president has demanded.
Is it fair to say kinetic strikes are on a pause right now, or do you?
No. If we need to use kinetic strikes, we'll use them. If Iran is foolish enough to overplay their hand or mess with the American military, we'll do what we need to do. But economic pressure, we know, hurts them the most right now. But by no means are we foreclosing using kinetic strikes anywhere in the Strait of Hormuz or around Iran.
I mean, this is such a no-brainer. I've got a clip. I did a TikTok video yesterday that I just sent Mike that I'm going to play a little bit later in the show that kind of sums up everything. So I don't want to have to do it again. But basically, we just need to show patience. And the ships are getting through. The escorts are getting through. It was up 400%. The ship traffic in 2 weeks is going to be up another 400% over the next 2 weeks. The oil is flowing. Prices should come down. We're being gouged, right? And you got the Democrats rooting for high gas prices and the Iranians to win. And this is basically where we are now. You have the Democrats rooting for a foreign adversary. And all they have is gas. Even in the interview yesterday with Jesse Waters, every time things got hot for the jihadists, he went back to gas prices and the war. That's all they got. They have nothing. They got one lady saying that elect us, and we're going to pass legislation, she says, to make things more affordable. Right? She's going to make things more affordable. My question is, what exactly are you going to do to make things more affordable? What exactly are you going to pass? Right? Here's, I'm going to get to cut 10. Here's Democrat Representative Meeks. Once we take the majority in January, we're going to pass bills that are really going to reduce the cost of living. What bills are those? Other than taxing wealth and taking people's homes and confiscating them and giving the money out, what bill are you going to pass to make things more affordable? Do you even have any idea how any of this works? Are you that stupid? Like you don't even know? Like affordability sounds nice. What are you going to do? The only way to get inflation down is by jacking interest rates up or by dramatically cutting the budget, neither of which the Democrats or Republicans would ever do. So what exactly is your plan here? What bills are you going to pass other than spend more money and give more of it away? 10, take a look.
On the domestic front, Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, had a meeting with Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Kushner is someone that you have actually tried to get to come to testify before your committee. Do you think that Jeffries was right to sit down with Kushner at this moment?
Look, I think that what Jeffries is doing and what we will do once we take the majority come January, we are going to produce and come and pass bills that are really going to reduce the cost of living for the American people. You want to work on it? We will put those bills on. And it's going to be up to the president, if we win the Senate also, to veto them or let the bills that we're going to put forward, because we're going to keep the promises that the president broke. We're going to get ourselves out of this as we vote tremendously against this war in Iran, we're going to make sure that we're bringing down cost. We're going to make sure that we're going to deliver on what we've talked about. We're going to pass those bills in the House. The president's decision and the administration, they can either support us or go against us. I know Hakeem Jeffries is just laying that down so that the Republicans know what we're going to be doing once we take back the majority.
So what bill are you going to pass? I mean, okay, so you're going to pull out of Iran, let them win, not fund it, so they can now close the strait again and charge fees, and they know we're not going to do anything because the Democrats are not going to give them the money. So basically, they get a nuclear bomb and they bomb London, and what are you going to do? Nothing. And what are you going to do to lower a price? Name one bill you're going to pass that will lower one price. You can have price controls. Well, that causes shortages. Nixon tried that. Doesn't work. Anybody has tried that. It doesn't work. Price controls don't work. You can have state-run grocery stores until they run out of food because the taxpayers have to subsidize it until your debt goes to 50 trillion and then the country collapses economically. So what exactly are you going to do? The only way you're going to get inflation down is by bringing gas prices down, by drilling, by getting the Keystone Pipeline, getting energy flowing, getting healthcare and prescription costs down, by cutting out the middleman, as President Trump is doing, or by jacking up interest rates like Volcker did to 15% so that you squeeze cash out of the system. That then causes deflation, which brings down inflation. There's no bill you're going to pass. There's no bill. And if you start capping things, then you create shortages. So, and then you want to pass green energy, which is terribly expensive. That doesn't work. So when are we going to ask these people what exactly they're going to do? They tried it in New Jersey. Prices are up higher than ever. They tried it in Virginia. Prices are up higher than ever. Fees went up. Utilities went up. Everything you had went up. So what exactly are they going to do? And nobody calls them on it. These are not journalists. This lady interviewing him on CNN should be like, well, give me one bill you're going to pass. Well, we're going to have, government-run grocery stores. Okay, well, what Mandami is doing is he's subsidizing food with 30% of taxpayer money coming from Rochester, Buffalo, Albany, and Saratoga. When that money runs out and the food shortages come, what do? What exactly are you going to do? Well, we're going to get rid of tariffs. Okay, then there's no jobs. Then they start dumping goods in again. So short-term prices might go down, but then guess what? You don't have a job to buy anything. This is insane, and the Republicans have no plan in order to combat any of this because we have lost the narrative. Instead, the Senate goes on vacation. It's crazy. Okay, now, Secretary Scott Bessent yesterday, let's get to cut 11, says we're launching Operation Economic Outcast to tighten the noose around the IRGC. You know who the greatest cabinet secretary we have, the two best? Hegseth, Bessent. This guy Bessent's a beast. I don't know where this guy came from. This guy's a beast. Let's get to Scott Bessent here, 11. Take a listen.
Today, we are launching Operation Economic Outcast to foreclose every other option available to the Iranian regime. Treasury has mapped every node, every facilitator, and every network that Iran has used to smuggle oil and evade sanctions. Beginning today, the actions of Treasury and other agencies will tighten the noose and block every potential source of revenue that funds the IRGC and the evil Iranian regime.
All right, here was my narrative on this yesterday that I think is pretty succinct and pretty clear Take a look. Today could mark the beginning of the end game for the entire Iranian regime. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, well, he's given it a name, Economic D-Day. I call it Economic Armageddon. The Trump administration is preparing what Bessent describes as the greatest financial offensive ever assembled against an adversary. Full spectrum financial dominance. And Iran is already staggering. The Iranian rial has crashed to roughly, get this, 2 million rials to $1 American dollar. Iran's currency isn't merely weak, it is being pulverized. Ordinary Iranians are watching their purchasing power evaporate. And now, Bessent wants to squeeze the regime where it hurts most. Oil, money, banking, trade, access to dollars. And anybody around the world helping Tehran evade American sanctions could now find themselves in Washington's crosshairs. This is the strategy. Choke off the money feeding the Iranian regime and the Revolutionary Guard. No money means no weapons. No money means no ability to finance their terrorist proxies. No money means increasing pressure inside Iran itself. And then there's the Strait of Hormuz. This is one of the most important energy choke points on planet Earth. Iran has tried to turn Hormuz into an economic weapon of leveraging, threatening shipping, blackmailing tankers, and attempting to dictate who gets through. Meanwhile, the United States Navy is working to keep oil moving. This is becoming a battle of economic endurance. And what we're hearing from Iranian commanders? Threats, bravado, promises of devastating retaliation. They're starting to sound like Baghdad Bob. Now, the ships that are moving through the strait are up 400% in 2 weeks, escorted by the U.S. Navy. Meanwhile, the financial walls are closing in Iran. Here's the key for us. Patience. Americans need to understand that economic warfare doesn't produce surrender in a day or 2 days or a week. We apply more pressure, we keep the ships moving through the strait, then more pressure, you isolate the regime, you then crush its access to hard currency. You squeeze its oil revenue. They can't get any oil out. You force everyone doing business with Iran to make a choice. And President Trump and Scott Bessent, they're betting that America's economic power can accomplish what decades of diplomacy for 50 years couldn't do. Iran can scream, can pound their chest, go on TV, do videos, but you can't print prosperity. You can't bluff the currency markets. And you can't run a modern military machine indefinitely when your economy is collapsing underneath you and you have no money. So don't judge this strategy tomorrow. Watch the rial, watch it collapse, watch Iranian oil revenue go to zero, which it is now. Watch the Strait of Hormuz open up. More ships are getting through. Prices are going to fall. Gas is going to fall. And we'll watch the countries and the companies that suddenly decide, you know what, doing business with Tehran isn't worth the price. Economic D-Day has arrived. I think I nailed it. Dan, what do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, I think I nailed it. Truth and clarity right here. I mean, that was exactly what we need to do. Truth and clarity. And hope you had a chance to, you can also follow me on TikTok or on any of the social medias where and I put these clips up a couple times a day, trying to get in a little more detail than we do in our show. So I figured I'd run that one. Meantime, you got Mandami running around New York City, and now he's got to defend the New York City Communist co-chair, or DSA, right, the Communist Party, who lives in a $1.4 million Brooklyn mansion purchased by his mom. So I guess the wealth tax to confiscate property doesn't apply if you're a member of the communists, because you're now the elite. This is how insane these people are. And the level of hypocrisy is beyond the pale. Cut 13, take a look.
I wanted to ask you, one of the leaders of the New York City DSA is facing questions about his background, his work history, where he lives. I wanted to know, for you, somebody who comes from the DSA, do you still stand by him? And do you think that what has come out about him undermines the credibility of the movement that the DSA is about affordability and trying to keep people here, especially because his home is in Bed-Stuy, where a lot of Black New Yorkers are having to leave because homes are being bought up and are just unaffordable. And then I have an unrelated question.
Why don't you give me both?
Okay, and then the second question is, while you were away, the hearing on the pied-à-terre rollout happened. Before you left, you seemed to hint that your officials would be at the hearing, saying that you were confident in their ability to answer the questions despite the lawsuit that was ongoing about it. But then the day before, they didn't show up. So I'm just wondering, do you think that New Yorkers deserve to get answers from your administration when it comes to this rollout? And did you know at the time, the Thursday or Friday before, I can't remember, that your administration officials weren't going to show up at that hearing?
So the reason to not attend that hearing was...
We're going to get back to this. Okay, number one, I don't know who this young reporter is in New York City. She actually asked two great questions. But number two is first rule you learn in reporter, because she kind of blew it here, is you never ask two questions at once, ever, because you only get an answer to one. So that's why you'll never see me in the briefing room or in the Oval Office ask two questions. I ask one, and then I immediately ask the other one, right? And I'll say I have two questions, ask the first one, and then I just ask the second when they're done before they can call on someone else, because they give you permission to do that. But at least she's challenging him. Now, we're going to get back to his answers when I get back after the top of the hour break. But finally, we have a reporter. I don't know who this young lady is, but bravo. We finally got a reporter asking legit questions to the communists. Finally. Maybe we'll get more of them. I don't know. But whoever she is, she's good. I'll be right back, live in Rock Hill on the John Fredericks Media Network, trucking the truth across America.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
Hour from Town Hall, I'm Rich Thomason. The student and business visas of up to 200,000 foreign nationals may be revoked, forcing these supposedly short-term visitors to go home.
If it happens, it would be the largest single mass revocation of visas in U.S. history. State Department documents obtained by the AP show in the coming weeks so-called B1 and B2 visas issued between 2016 and this year would be revoked. In a social media post, Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau called out people who he says tried to use these visas to get into the country and then apply for asylum. In the past 18 months, the State Department revoked about 175,000 visas for people who have been convicted or accused of crimes, as well as for people who spoke out publicly against U.S. policies, mostly in the Middle East. Ed Donahue, Washington.
The Supreme Court has handed the Trump administration a victory over election integrity, concerns a presidential executive order on mail-in ballots. The plan would create a federal list of eligible voters and direct the Postal Service to deliver ballots only to those voters. Ruling 6-3, the High Court says states that sued the administration did so improperly. When it comes to the U.S. declaration of economic war on Iran, Treasury Secretary Bessent says it's already bearing fruit.
Over the weekend, comments from Iranian leadership clearly acknowledged the effect of this campaign, and nations that facilitate any interactions with the regime should quickly heed our message.
Later today, Canada is expected to announce its response to President Trump's 50% tariffs on a host of Canadian imports, some $20 billion worth of goods from Canada. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures in positive territory. Dow futures up 216 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 254, and the S&P futures 32 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Are you carrying more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Do you feel like you're running on a financial treadmill, making payment after payment, month after month, yet never getting ahead? If you're tired of watching your hard-earned money disappear into interest charges, there may be options available to help you take back control of your finances. At Total Financial Freedom, they'll show you what qualified consumers may be able to save through programs designed to help them resolve debt faster than making minimum payments alone. The consultation is free, confidential, and comes with absolutely no obligation. inflation. Why spend years, sometimes decades, paying thousands in interest when there may be a better path forward? Total Financial Freedom is a Christian-owned company that has helped thousands of Americans pursue financial freedom for nearly 20 years and is proudly A+ rated and accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now and ask how you can receive a complimentary copy of The Debt Dietitian. Stop running in place. Start moving toward financial freedom at 866-844-7344. 866-844-7344.
Australia's recording industry says tracks completely generated by AI will be barred from the country's official music charts.
For months, a cover of Madonna's Like a Prayer has ridden high in the Australian charts, notching up almost 50 million streams on Spotify. The catch? The version by Australian DJ Josh Fawaz relies heavily on artificial intelligence. Now, songs like this will no longer be able to battle for the #1 spot in Australia, after the country's Recording Industry Association changed the rules on what can enter the charts. AI can still be used in production, but humans must have written the song, performed the lead vocal, and played the main instruments. The move has been welcomed by musicians, with one high-profile Australian group, Peking Duck, saying AI music was removing the human experience from life.
The BBC's Simon Atkinson. A tornado has ravaged a small village in southern France, leaving dozens injured, 2 critically. Townhall.com. Adults are embracing the growing trend of colleges offering a reduced credit bachelor's degree in just 3 years.
34-year-old Giles Sims was sick of getting passed over for jobs because he did not have a college degree and was often told,
on your skills assessment, you guys scored the same, so we went with the one that had the degree.
So the laid-off web developer turned to one of a growing number of 3-year degree programs now being offered around the country. The new U.S. programs let students finish faster by completing as few as 90 credit hours instead of the typical 120 hours for a 4-year bachelor's degree. Critics say the degrees cut corners. Giles says that the programs seem more tailored for a fast-changing job market. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The California Senate's passed a bill to fine content creators who don't disclose that they were paid to post in support of a political candidate or an issue on the ballot. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
I spent my career building a business, but I couldn't stand by while Washington spent money it didn't have. So I got in the fight, and I never forgot who elected me. This election is about the America we pass on to your family and mine. We inherited freedom. Now it's our turn to defend it, to strengthen it, and to leave America stronger than we found it. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman, and I approve this message.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pier 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the wellness company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendment, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who says, "Do I look like I have a plan?" John Fredericks.
Oh, coming alive in Rock Hill, South Carolina, the big primary tonight. The runoff, Ralph Norman going up against Darlene Graham. I think that's her last name, right? Or she changed it, something like that. Anyway, Trafalgar poll came out today. It's tied 48-48. It's a horse race. Nobody knows who's going to win except me. I know Norman's going to win this race. My estimation, that poll, Darlene had to be up by 5 in order to win. The intensity on the ground for Norman, big time. I predict he's going to win this race. We're going to be there live with our special show at Norman headquarters starting at 6 p.m. I'll be there. Dan Hobbick is going to be there running the camera. Mike Coleman pulling a like a firehouse doubleheader today. You know, those firemen that go in and then they're there for 2 days. Brings his cot ready to go. Coleman pulling the firehouse jingle for us, getting up at 4, staying until 8 or 9, getting up at 4 again. Better bring that. Where they have that they drink in those cans that'll rot your gut. What is that thing? Power Bull or something? Power something? Red Bull. Better bring some. I don't drink that stuff. Rot your gut, but a lot of people do. That Red Bull, ready to go there. Mike, good question. Let's start at 7 o'clock, Mike Coleman. See, Coleman's got it going on. Yeah, we'll get on the air at 7, not 6. 7. Good thing I didn't publicize it.
This is Game on America, right?
Yeah, see, Coleman's he's on top of everything. He's just on it, right? I mean, I got too much going on. I forget. You're right. 7 o'clock. Way to go. Let's go. National. Ralph Norman headquarters. And that's going to be a lot of fun, no doubt. Let's get to, we heard the Mandami question. If you hadn't heard us at the 6 o'clock hour, reporter was asking Mandami about, what about this guy that's head of the DSA that lives in a $1.4 million home in Brooklyn Heights, and you guys are, people can't afford homes there, and you guys are supposed to be confiscating homes, but he lives in a mansion. How's that square? Kind of like Bernie Sanders has got 3 homes and hundreds of millions of dollars, but nobody should be a millionaire but him. Of course, he didn't get it by earning it. He just got it through, taxpayer money and making trades and stuff. It's what they do. Bunch of scam artists. But let's take a listen to the mayor's answer.
I wanted to ask you, one of the leaders of the New York City DSA is facing questions about his background, his work history, where he lives. I wanted to know, for you, somebody who comes from the DSA, do you still stand by him? And do you think that what has come out about him undermines the credibility of the movement that the DSA is about affordability and trying to keep people here, especially because his home is in Bed-Stuy, where a lot of Black New Yorkers are having to leave because homes are being bought up and are just unaffordable. And then I have an unrelated question.
Why don't you give me both?
Okay, and then the second question is, while you were away, the hearing on the pied-à-terre rollout happened. Before you left, you seemed to hint that your officials would be at the hearing, saying that you were confident in their ability to answer the questions despite the lawsuit that was ongoing about it. But then the day before, they didn't show up. So I'm just wondering, do you think that New Yorkers deserve to get answers from your administration when it comes to this rollout? And did you know at the time, the Thursday or Friday before, I can't remember, that your administration officials weren't going to show up at that hearing?
So the reason to not attend that hearing was on the basis of the legal consequences of doing so, because we are in the midst of a legal case on this very question. And so we know that the hearing last week was explicitly focused on the very issues that are at the heart of that case, and we didn't believe that it would be in the legal interest of the city to send a senior representative. However, we did send a written statement from Commissioner Lee, and we also did inform the council that the commissioner would be available to take any kinds of questions after August 31st, because by that point there would not still be that same question of the legal concerns. And to your first question, look, I think anyone who is focused on delivering a more affordable life for the people of New York City, a fairer life for the people of New York City, and frankly, of those of the world, should be welcomed into this work. And that's what I see so many doing. And that's the kind of initiatives and efforts that we continue to encourage.
He never answered the question. The question was, the co-chair of your Communist Party is living in a $1.5 million mansion and saying that nobody can have mansions, and that's where he's living in the mansion because he's a hypocrite. Like, they're all hypocrites and liars, and he never answered the question. That's why you never ask two questions in a row, because what happened is the reporter asked two questions. He took the softer one first, which was the second, ignored the first, and called on someone else. So he outmaneuvered the reporter, never asked two questions. Had she asked the first question only, he would have had to give an answer, or she would have shouted a follow-up like, well, so you want to confiscate people over with houses over $1 million, but you got your guy there living in a $1.5 million mansion saying the other mansion should get confiscated. What about his house? They never answer this. This is why the whole thing is a fraud. It is a fraud from top to bottom. And it's eventually going to play out. Okay, I wanted to get to some other things here as far as frauds are concerned. These people are unbelievable. Let's get to where we were talking about the Supreme Court backing Trump's order to curb mail-in ballots, which I think is right now the most important thing we have. Let's go to cut 9. Here's the CNN. Here's CNN talking about this Supreme Court order backing Trump's mail-out ballot initiative. Cut 9. Take a look.
We start with breaking news in our Law and Justice lead. The U.S. Supreme Court just granted President Donald Trump's request for permission to implement his executive order overhauling and restricting mail-in ballot system. But additional legal challenges could stand in the way of this plan before the November midterm elections. Still, this ruling brings new uncertainty about voting rules for the midterms because it keeps alive the possibility that Trump will impose policies outlined in the order that gave the U.S. Postal Service and the Department of Homeland Security unprecedented roles in the running of elections. Let's bring in CNN's Gabe Cohen, CNN's Kristen Holmes at the White House, and CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. Gabe, let's start with you. So walk us through what just happened here at the Supreme Court. What did the justices say?
Well, Bianna, the justices in this case have sided with the Trump administration. First, to give you a little bit of context, this dates back to this executive order that was issued by President Trump in March that, as you said, really was focused on election integrity, election security, and it was giving that sort of unprecedented role to his Department of Homeland Security and USPS in election administration. There were a couple aspects to this. First off, he directed his DHS, his Department of Homeland Security, to begin creating these state citizenship lists, to tap into various federal databases and start building lists of every American who the federal government believes is eligible to vote in federal elections. They were then directed to send those lists eventually to the states to help the states then cull their voter rolls looking for non-citizens or anyone else who is ineligible to vote. Of course, that ties back to the president's longstanding claims that there is widespread voter fraud in this country. Another aspect of that order was directing the Postal Service to add new restrictions to how it issues its mail ballots, essentially telling states that if states want the Postal Service to deliver mail ballots, they are required to provide full lists of any mail ballot recipients before those go out. They want names and addresses in order to keep a closer tab on who exactly is getting those ballots. The Postal Service, as a result, would not deliver ballots in any state that refused to provide those lists. To be clear, there are still a lot of questions. This is likely going to be kicked back down because what the court is saying here is not that the implementation of this executive order is going to end up being lawful. What they're essentially saying is that the Department of Homeland Security and the Postal Service have not implemented anything yet, and so states do not have the right to bring forward this case saying that they have been harmed. I'm going to read you a part of the court's decision, the Supreme Court saying the court's disposition of this application does not mean that any measure taken by the government to implement the order will necessarily be lawful. On that score, time will tell. But the order itself does not harm the states, so the district court lacked jurisdiction to bar the government from trying to implement it. And for the reasons discussed, that injunction is likely to irreparably harm the government, an injunction that would block the executive order if it remains in place while the appellate process runs its course, essentially saying that lower courts were wrong to block the federal government from at least beginning that implementation process or seeing what that would look like. I will remind you, Bianna, just a few days ago, Friday night, the Postal Service finally issued, after months, what its final rule would be here, again reiterating that they would not deliver ballots in any states that refused to provide those mail-in ballot recipient lists. We know that that is going to be met with swift action in these states that now believe that they are going to be harmed by this because they have been extremely concerned with providing any more voter data to an administration that, again, has been making these sweeping claims about voter fraud in this country. And they are also very concerned that providing those lists gives Trump's Department of Homeland Security more ammunition to perhaps erroneously go after non-citizens.
All they want to do is be sure if you're getting a ballot in the mail that you are a legitimate U.S. citizen, a registered voter here in the country legally, and you have the legitimate right to vote. This is all they're doing. This has nothing to do with anything else. And while this ruling is very favorable to us, they also left the door open to do the Amy Coney Barrett swap-a-roo. Like at the end say, well, it's harmful to the states. All they really said here, and it's a good ruling because the alternative was it's over. All the ruling said was nobody's got standing right now because nothing has been implemented. Got to wait till it's implemented. Now then, once that ruling was done, then the post office ruled out what their plan would be. Now more lawsuits will come. Now the Supreme Court's got to take it up again, and now they got to make a permanent ruling. And I don't know how it's going to rule. I would hope that they stay with the 6-3, because all this ruling is saying is the federal government, which controls the post office is not controlled by states. States don't control the USPS. The federal government controls the U.S. Post Office with our money. And it runs huge deficits, but you have to have a postal system. I get it. So kind of like Amtrak, I believe you got to have a train system. So some of us will disagree on that. But the USPS is controlled by the federal government. And what the USPS said in their ruling or in their policy is that if the voter rolls in a state has not been vetted through the federal Department of Justice, then the federal mail system will not honor that mail because they can't be sure that they're mailing it to a legitimate voter out of a legitimate address legitimately. Now, the idea that, well, the federal government will have access to all these voter rolls. Well, they have access anyway. All voter rolls are open to the public. I could go in and get any voter roll I want in any state, precinct, community right now. You get anyone you want as a candidate. So you can go get the voter roll. So this is not like a private thing. It's not like a state-only thing. This is open to everybody. So that's kind of where this is at, and I'm really looking forward to a much more favorable ruling going forward. Okay, I'm going to get to the Jared Kushner meeting here in a minute. Before I do that, folks, healthcare is a big issue, right? Everybody's talking about it. We as a company have to deal with it. And I love Barry Draper, and Dan knows this with his Smart Health plan. And if you're tired of getting hammered by outrageous healthcare costs, listen up to me for just a second. The Smart Health plan from Barry Draper is really helping families, individuals, and businesses like ours get quality healthcare coverage without getting destroyed financially. Now, the beauty of this thing is you're going to get complete comprehensive coverage, including hospitalization, surgery, and critical illness protection. You also get access to a national PPO network and low $15 doctor visit copays. Very important. And if you need quick care, unlimited telemedicine is included in the program. Now, if you need prescriptions covered too, like me, they've got fully tiered prescription drug plans too. Now, whether you need an individual plan for yourself or group coverage for your company, Mountaineer Healthcare, well, they have flexible options designed to save you serious money. And here's the kicker. Rates can be 30 to 40% lower than unsubsidized marketplace plans or traditional group coverage. Now, that's real savings for working Americans. Call them now. Call Barry Draper now, 833-752-6742. That's 833-752-6742. Or go to thesmarthealthplan.com, thesmarthealthplan.com. And thank you, Barry, for doing this, thesmarthealthplan.com. Okay, let's get to, and the thing about this too is you get to deal with an individual. That's what I love. It's not, you're not going to go into voicemail hell. You're going to deal with Barry Draper, who's going to answer your questions. I mean, I love when I can do a national ad and somebody that I know will answer the phone. And I just think that's tremendous. Very, very rare today that people will do that. It's like on my campaign phone, somebody wanted to put up one of these Google phones. Dan's laughing like, Dan, no, I would never do that. Let's put up a Google phone. Well, what's a Google phone? Well, nobody really answers it. It just gets a voicemail. I'm like, you really think that I'm going to I own 3 phones and I'm going to do a Google phone where nobody answers the phone? There's a phone number on there that nobody answers? Like, why on earth would I ever do that? I mean, I would never do that. You want to call me, you had a campaign issue, you had garbage needs picked up, you pick up the phone, you call me. I'll answer your call. If I don't answer it, I'll call you back. I don't have to do Google phone. I mean, I got 3 phones, for God's sake. You know what I'm talking about? And it pisses me off when people don't return my call. That's my number one piss off. Answer the phone, return my call. mean, how tough is that in life? Pick up the phone. If you can't pick it up, I get it. Call me now. I can pick it up, but return the call. I tell my salespeople all the time, he who answers the phone first gets the sale. Simple. Just answer the phone. How many sales you're going to get by just answering the phone. That's why I got 3. Oh my goodness. Am I old school, Dan? Is that what it is?
A bit.
Not getting a Google phone. What is that? Is it on my phone? Do you answer it? No, it goes to voicemail, and then you call them back if you so choose.
You're the OG, Godzilla. You're the OG.
I'm the OG.
You're the OG?
Why would I get a Google phone?
You're the original Godzilla.
They had it up on my website. I'm like, what is this number? Oh, that's your Google phone that somebody got you and wanted. Like, what? Want a Google phone? Call me. 888-480-JOHN. Speaking of call, hey, nobody's called Mike today. Maybe they're intimidated by him. Or they miss you.
They miss my conversationalism.
Mike Cohen hasn't gotten one phone call today. Normally we get 12, 15 a day. Half of them we can't get to.
Especially the first hour.
Yeah, Mike got 0. He's a very intimidating cat. He's a big guy. Yeah. They're like, well, I don't want to talk to Mike. He's scary. 888-4880-JOHN. Mike is not scary.
Yeah, Mike's not scary.
He's not scary. He's a nice guy. He doesn't say much. Yeah. Best thing of the day was, though. Now, for the Mike Coleman report, I have nothing to report. Next. All right, look. Let's get to this Kushner meeting, okay? Because this is another thing that's sticking in my throat like a chicken bone. Okay. Here we go again, right? We're 71 days from the most consequential midterm election in modern history. We're fighting to hold the Senate. We're fighting to hold the House. So what does Jared Kushner do? Trump's son-in-law. Dan, what does he do? He requests a private meeting with Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, not Mike Johnson, not John Thune, not Ted Cruz, not Comer. Let's get a private meeting with Hakeem Jeffries. And then let's not think it's going to get leaked to the New York Times and Maggie Haberman in, 15 seconds. The Democratic leader who becomes the Speaker of the House if the Democrats win a majority. I mean, are you kidding me? What exactly did Kushner think was going to happen? That everybody was going to go around the fireplace and sip cappuccino and talk about housing and immigration and do kumbaya, maybe roast a marshmallow, and nobody would ever hear about it. Got leaked to Haberman in a New York minute, as you knew it would. This is Washington. This is what they do. So of course it's public. It's going to be a private meeting. You kidding me? Of course they leaked it. Of course the Democrats allegedly leaked it. Now let's look at the optics. Republicans are out there telling voters we can win. We're going to win. Like me. We're going to win. I'm out there telling voters we're going to win. We're going to hold the House. We're going to hold the Senate. We're going to keep President Trump's agenda moving forward. And meanwhile, Jared Kushner, who doesn't even hold an official government position, is sitting down privately with a guy who becomes Speaker if the Republicans lose. Now, what message does this send? It looks like you're hedging your bets to me. It looks like you're preparing for defeat. And worst of all, it gives Democrats exactly the narrative they want. Even Trump's own people think they're toast. Brilliant, Jared. Friggin' brilliant, dude. Brilliant. Unbelievable. This is the stuff that drives me crazy about Republicans. Democrats understand political warfare. They understand optics. They understand narrative. They understand that it's 71 days before an election. Every meeting, every photograph, and every conversation is a political weapon. Republicans, no, they're too stupid to figure this out. Sometimes we walk into the wood chipper and then get surprised when somebody turns the damn thing on and we get our hand mangled. This is so stupid. Maybe they wanted to discuss housing, immigration, affordability. Fine. Not going to discuss that now. Win the House, and then you don't have to deal with them. Like, instead of meeting with Hakeem Jeffries, why don't you go on a campaign trail? Why don't you get a vote? Why don't you register a voter, Kushner? Or are you just worried about your own ass? That's my question. And here's the other problem. They're giving leverage to Jeffries. He gets to look presidential, like he's meeting with the president's son-in-law, to get things worked out when they take over. Republicans should be making Jeffries fight for every single vote, not just handing it to him. Don't give him a dress rehearsal. And Jared, you know what? You're supposed to understand New York, okay? Stop playing footsie with the opposition. First of all, you haven't done crap in Ukraine. You haven't done crap with Iran. You're like 0 for 4. You're striking out wherever you go, and now you go meet with Hakeem Jeffries. You got to be kidding me. I mean, the more I think about this, stop preparing to lose. This is all Republicans do. They're preparing to lose. They want to lose now. And you got Kushner meeting with Jeffries. Every day, every state, every vote. Why doesn't Kushner go register a voter on his island somewhere in Florida? So forget the back channel kumbaya sessions. Okay? Right now, win the damn House. And stop meeting with Hakeem Jeffries like the loser you appear to be. Unfreaking believable. Just when you thought it was safe to go outside, you can't. We'll be right back with your calls if you want. 888-480-JOHN. Okay, so I want to zoom this camera out.
Ponder this. It's amazing how many of us choose to go about our daily life without recognizing others who cross our paths each day. Take, for example, your morning walk, run, or workout at the gym. As we encounter others, often we don't make eye contact, let alone smile or greet each other. Listening to music or a podcast with our earbuds is so much more preferable than having to greet others we encounter. As a result, people are becoming more and more disconnected from each other. So let's start a human connection trend. Here's an experiment for you to try. Put your phone and earbuds away for a day while in public. Try to engage others in your path with a simple smile and a kind hello. These simple gestures will become a powerful force in the world. A smile costs nothing, but can be a powerful tool to brighten the day for others. Let your smile be a light for all to see. It's a gesture of love from the Lord. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Wagering at its finest, playing at the highest levels, under the highest stakes for more than a decade. This is the world Past the Wire has conquered, bringing you uncompromised thoroughbred authority and elite track data that anchors the game. But the modern wagering landscape is expanding. Every sport, every line, every prop, and every high leverage future, we decode the metrics across the entire board. From game day spreads to the explosive new frontier of prediction markets and event contracts, we give you intelligence to dominate the modern financial exchanges. Because in the end, it's a battle. You versus the house. You versus the other players. In this arena, we fight with you. We are your ultimate edge. Welcome to the Ultimate Wagering Network. Subscribe to Past the Wire TV and turn on notifications, because when the dust settles,
Nobody does it better. Saturday morning, 6 on the radio, 11 on JFMN.TV.
From New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
Let's keep it real. My white colleagues could never discuss this issue because they would be branded racist immediately. Welfare was one of the worst things that ever happened to black people.
Dominic Carter, weeknights on the John Fredericks Media Network.
I'm bold enough to do it, and I'm African American, and it's coming from a position of love.
Hit JohnFredericksRadio.com for showtimes in your city.
The establishment has already picked their candidate. Same old playbook, same old insiders. I'm not their choice. And this election is not for sale. The stakes are too high for political games. The Socialist Democrats are a threat to America. South Carolina needs a proven conservative with a record of fighting for you. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman. I approve this message, and I'm asking for your vote.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking, free. General admission, free. Memories, priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
I spent my career building a business, but I couldn't stand by while Washington spent money it didn't have. So I got in the fight, and I never forgot who elected me. This election is about the America we pass on to your family and mine. We inherited freedom. Now it's our turn to defend it, to strengthen it, and to leave America stronger than we found it. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman, and I approve this message.
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's a ridiculous questions. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect.
Don't touch that dial. You've found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
All right, you got him, and it's great to have you back. 888-480-JOHN. You want to weigh in? 888-480-5646. Coming to you live in Rock Hill, South Carolina. That's right, Rock Hill. And we're going to be live tonight at 7 p.m. Special show at 7 o'clock. From Ralph Norman headquarters in Rock Hill, bringing you all the action. And we're predicting a Norman victory tonight, post close at 7 here in South Carolina. So what's going on with the whack jobs? I just told you about Kushner, which I just can't believe. In fact, Mike Johnson with this meeting said it wasn't a good look and he ought to be focused on winning. And it was like he's covering his butt. Like he's just covering himself. And he doesn't even have a government position. And him and Ivanka live on some like gated island in Florida. The whole thing stinks to me. I don't even know what he's doing there. Like you were in the administration, you failed, you failed, okay? You failed in Iran, you failed in Ukraine. What exactly have you been successful at in this administration, Jared? Like what? The Abraham Accords, okay, you're 1 for 10, okay? That gets you DFA'd. Excuse me. Right? Anyway, whatever. Unbelievable. Well, here's Hakeem Jeffries on the meeting. I'll get to Leonard here in a second. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. We're going to get to cut 3, saying that Kushner asked for a meeting, and we're going to hold every member of the Trump cartel accountable, including him. So basically, I asked him, I wanted his size of his shoes and his, overall, medium or small orange jumpsuit. I need his size so he's comfortable. What were you meeting on? Like, when you win, how can we work together? Well, you need to go back to your island in Florida, okay? Because you ain't going to win. I mean, am I the only person that thought this meeting was like the most absurd thing I've seen in this cycle? And then to think it's not going to get leaked to the New York Times in a nanosecond? Like, what? Weren't you in the administration for 4 years? This is our chief negotiator? Excuse me? This is the guy that's negotiating the deal with Iran and trying to broker the Ukraine war? This is the guy? Why don't you go buy another real estate building with foreign money? I mean, that's about all this guy does. I mean, you got to be kidding me. The more I think about this meeting, the more angry I get. Like, go do something productive. Let's meet with Jeffrey so I can cover my sorry butt. Be sure I get the foreign money keep flowing so I can buy more buildings somewhere. I mean, what? Here's Jeffries mocking him. Unbelievable. 3, roll it.
What's up, y'all? Just finished up an event here in the community in Brooklyn. I want to give you a little real talk on this Jared Kushner situation. He asked for a meeting, and I took it to discuss the affordability crisis that exists that is not a hoax. At the same period of time, I shouldn't have to say it, but I am. No one is going to get a pass. We're going to hold every single member of the Trump cartel accountable, beginning on day one. If you're stealing from the American people, shortchanging the American people, or screwing over the American people, you're going to be held accountable. We're going to follow the facts, apply the law, and be guided by the Constitution, beginning on day one, and hold the crooks accountable. And that's what we've done as House Democrats from the beginning of this Congress. We battled the Trump administration on tariffs, battled them on Medicaid, battled them on Epstein, battled them on nutritional assistance, battled them on the Affordable Care Act, battled them on the reckless war of choice in Iran, battled them on ICE funding, and battled them on the unprecedented corruption unleashed on the American people. And we've delivered results. Pam Bondi is gone. Kristi Noem is gone. And we're just getting started. At the same period of time, the affordability crisis in this country is very real. It needs to be dealt with. I hear about it every day. In a community in Brooklyn and all across the country, wherever I may be, people are drowning in this failed economy and are demanding action. We have a responsibility to deal with the fact that life is too expensive. Far too many people are stressed the F out when it's time to go to the grocery store, pay the rent, or put gas in the tank. That's crazy. That should not be happening in the United States of America, and we have a responsibility to address it. And that's what we intend to do.
You better take this guy at his word, folks. This is a communist manifesto. They're going to attempt to prosecute anybody that was on the other side. They're going to commit lawfare to bankrupt them all. Everybody. He said it. This is not a joke. This is not a hoax. And basically what he just delivered was the Democrat Communist Manifesto. And this is why the communists are winning their primaries. People can't afford things, so they're going to turn to the government to give it to them. And in order to give it to them, they're going to bankrupt what's remaining of this nation and take whatever is not nailed down. And so you better strap in. There is no working with them. You understand, they are going to attempt to put every one of these people in jail or bankrupt them, every single one. They're going to impeach every cabinet member. They're going to impeach Trump, Vance. Every cabinet member will get impeached. This is all they're going to do for 2 years. And then every bill they pass is going to be higher taxes and confiscation of people's wealth in order to give away money. And that's their plan for affordability, because they have no economic plan. They can't grow the economy. They can't do anything. But this is the Communist Manifesto. People are suffering. Therefore, turn to us, and we will take from those that are doing better and give to you until the money runs out. And then we'll take what's remaining until that money runs out. And then you riot, and then we'll shoot you. That's basically what the guy just laid it out. This is what every single communist takeover does. And here's the minority leader of the House laying it out on camera. This is what we're going to do. And you better damn well believe it. And why Kushner is meeting with this guy is beyond any reason I can possibly come up with. You better play to win, Kushner, because you ain't going to own that house on the island. They're going to take that from you. They're going to sell it off, and they're going to give it to your opponents, who are then going to put you in jail for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what you did or didn't do. They'll find something, just like Letitia did, just like Fonnie did. They'll find something. Now, you better take this damn well seriously. So I don't think we are. I just don't think we get it. Line one, Leonard, Georgia, go. Leonard, you're live.
Top of the morning to you, John. That speech by Hakeem Jeffries should be played at every Republican meeting. That guy is serious as a heart attack. And Kushner, what a butt clown, wet puppet, beta boy. Go away, you pathetic moron. I'm tired of him. I'm tired of his linguini spine. You know, you're right. The Democrats are playing for keeps, and we just play patty cake. But the reason I called, John, earlier you were talking about DHS requesting the voter rolls. There was a case here in Atlanta a few years back where they sent like $4 or $5, $10 million to the same address of tax refund. And here are the names: Carlos Rodriguez, John Fredericks Rodriguez, Dan Hopgood Rodriguez. 25 people in the same house, millions of dollars sent to it, and nobody caught it. What the hell? Let's get to the bottom of it and find out who the hell is voting.
That's what we're trying to do. I don't have a problem with ballots in the mail. Trump does, I don't. You're not going to stop it. Old people, which is our voters, prefer to vote in the mail. Many people do. But you got to make them legitimate. And so that's all this Postal Service, that's all this executive order does. But you know what? At the end of the day, when push comes to shove, you and I both know Amy Coney Barrett and John, I want a nice write-up at the New York Times, Roberts, will overturn it and say, well, you know, it's up to each state and that Trump doesn't have the authority. We all know that's going to happen. And it'll be a 5-4 decision, and the Comey Barrett fiasco will perpetuate on. I can only hope that Roberts sees the light. Comey Barrett's a waste of my time. She's going to vote the other way because she's afraid somebody will dox her. Person should not be on the Supreme Court. It was the worst decision we've ever made. The David Souter of our time. Leonard, thank you. Rob, New York, line 2. Rob, go.
Good morning, John.
Good morning.
I got to tell you, I don't understand why most Republicans, and I live in New York, granted not in the city, but I've known about Dollar Store Obama, which is what I call Hakeem Jeffries, or Timu Obama. We've known about this clown for years. But the difference is we may make fun of him on how, you know, on what a fool he is, but he's serious, just like your previous caller said that. And we don't have enough people in the Republican Party who are serious enough and are looking at this, because I don't want another 2 years of lawfare. We saw that the entire Trump first term. We saw what they did to that man when they realized he was going to run again, and to other people. We really want that for another 2 more years?
Well, that's coming.
So what do we have instead?
That's coming.
Right. We We have John Thune, who sends the Senate home without even doing what the people elected. He's the cuckold of the Senate parliamentarian. Really embarrassing. I mean, I like Mike Johnson, but he's limited. He has only got a couple of seats because we get these Republicans that go off the path and like God only knows where. And this is ridiculous. And we should be fighting. It's not a hard way to combat this stuff. Where was the rebuttal to Hakeem? I didn't hear
There's
any
no
rebuttal.
rebuttal, John. I mean, Rob, there is no rebuttal. I mean, that's my whole point. There's no fight. There's no rebuttal. There's nothing. There's just lay down and go meet with him. I mean, the fact that Jared Kushner went and met with this guy is beyond anything. Every time I think the Republicans will never get worse, they do. And I don't even know who gave him the authority to meet. What, he didn't think this was going to get leaked. He's trying to save his own butt. I don't know why he's there. Instead, going out and fight to win.
And even if your internals show that you're trailing a little bit, why would you make that public? You just dispirited a whole bunch of people with that message.
Well, maybe
we're worried
maybe
about
maybe
these.
we get a big victory tonight, and everybody's hoping. There's a lot of pressure on Trump now in Dallas because everybody is hoping that that's going to be the reset. And if that thing is not a 10, it's not going to be successful. It's got to be a 10. Dallas has got to be a reset, and we got to go out and start fighting. And so September 10th is fine. 11th after that, we got to start fighting. We got to start telling the American people what is going to happen to them if these guys win. Now, you heard him. He said, this is a communist takeover. He said it. We're going to do whatever we can to bring prices down. How are you going to do that? The only way you do that is by taking more money out of the system and giving it to their constituents. There is no other way to do this. Or to have wage and price controls or grocery-run supermarkets, which leads you to the confiscation of all private property. This is what they're talking about. We got Jared Kushner meeting with him like the spineless weasel he is. Unbelievable. Rob, thank you. John, Jersey, line 3, live. Go, John.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing? I wasn't going to call in, but after hearing that Hakeem Jeffries, so we all have to understand that everything he said there was a complete and total fabrication and a lie. I mean, it's a Marxist tactic. I mean, the Democrats are the ones that are rife with fraud. It's being exposed everywhere. So I think, when I see that, I get motivated because it's so insane and it's so false and it's so provenly false. I think you got to just give people the benefit of the doubt. If we could get, I mean, who is he really appealing to? He's appealing to welfare, Democrats, illegals. I mean, people that want to believe this stuff. The bottom line is that is a complete fabrication. Now, we have these midterms coming up. The bottom line is Trump and Vance are master closers, okay? This campaign begins starting in September, okay? And that's the run-up into November. What we need, listen, Trump's not perfect. Nobody has more gripes than me, and I've aired them on this show. But you know what? Let's save it till December. Right now, we need a unified message. We have to understand, like you said, the seriousness of these people. And the bottom line is we have to just focus on winning these midterms. Hold your nose. We're going to be moving a lot of these people out of the Senate, a lot of these people out of the Congress in 2028. We're slowly but surely getting to where we need to be. But, we need a unified soul focus on the midterms right now. And the bottom line is I think these things that we're seeing with, the guy up in Michigan, this guy, Hakeem Jeffries, this motivates me. I don't know. I see it a little bit different. That's what my take is.
Well, I agree with you 100%, John. I think you're spot on. Leonard was spot on, too, and so was Rob. I mean, this is it. If this doesn't motivate you, the guy looks right in the camera. I mean, they're all taking this from Mandami. Look right in the camera and tell people you're going to take from others to give to somebody else. I mean, this is a communist message, and they're gonna go after everybody. I mean, if you look at that, you can't look at that thing and not understand what these people are going to do. They're going to tear this thing down until it collapses. It's going to collapse, like what was it? Portugal or something did, where you couldn't take money out of an ATM machine. That's where these people are headed, and they will take your property because that's next. That's the methodology of confiscation. It starts with jealousy and all that, and they shouldn't have that, and you didn't build that. That's Obama started that, right? You didn't build that. That's not fair. Pay your fair share, which is give up your $1 million home and give it to somebody else. This is what they're telling you they're going to do. They have no solutions. No one on that side of the aisle has come up with one solution. Not one. Thanks, John. Don, Virginia. Don, you're live. Line 4. Go ahead.
Morning, John.
Hey.
First thing I want to say is, if you want to see cars in D.C. going over 100 miles an hour, all you really need to do is look out on Route 95 Friday afternoon. Okay. In fact, our own lieutenant governor here in Virginia was caught at 120 miles an hour on his way to the beach. So that, as far as the Indy race goes, that's a wonderful thing, but it happens all the time. On a lighter note, then what I really need to say is, last week, Abigail Spanberger, presidential vote, promising all our delegates to whoever wins the popular vote in the country. And if that don't hurt you, then she comes along yesterday and takes away Trump's no tax on tips. Now, I surely hope she doesn't eat in restaurants in Virginia, because she's not going to be treated very well. That's all I really had to say.
Well, she can't just give the electoral votes to another candidate without a constitutional amendment. So that's not going to happen. So that's number one. Number two is they did the same. They tried to do the same thing here in D.C. Well, I'm in Rock Hill today, in D.C., which is basically not adhere to the one big beautiful bill, not do make sure in the state taxes you pay those tips, and we were able. The Republicans can change it. You can't change it in Virginia. So they have a right to write whatever tax laws they want. The people keep voting them in, and they're going to keep getting screwed. Dude, I got to go, Don. Thank you. John McLaughlin next. Keep it right here.
Of Canadian imports.
President Trump says Canada has taken advantage of the United States for years. He plans to raise tariffs on Canadian automobiles, auto parts, and steel to 50% in 2027. And Vice President J.D. Vance says the administration's goal is simple: level the playing field and secure fairness for American businesses.
Correspondent Ken Lorman. An oil tanker has been disabled after being hit by an unknown projectile off Oman. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Organization says crew is safe and no environmental damage has been reported. Well, the polls are open in the Palmetto State.
In South Carolina, voters heading to the polls to vote in the Senate runoff race between Republican Darlene Graham and Republican Ralph Norman. Darlene, the sister of the late Senator Lindsey Graham, is endorsed by President Trump. Back in July, after being appointed to fill his seat, Graham saying this about the president.
I want to thank President Trump, his steadfast support, and his complete and total endorsement means so much to me.
Laura Winters reporting.
Of his opponent, Congressman Norman says Main Street Washington is with her. They're not with me, nor do I want them. He adds that Washington is broken. Massive wildfire burning near Reno, Nevada, now 27% contained. The Hawk Fire has chased tens of thousands of people from their homes, and more than 35 of those homes have been destroyed. Stock futures higher on Wall Street. The Dow futures up close to 300 points. NASDAQ futures 276 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
A rescue effort off the coast of India.
Rescuers searching for 22 missing sailors have found no trace of their Panama-flagged cargo ship after the vessel sunk in the Bay of Bengal last week, the Indian Coast Guard says. Search aircraft and ships on Tuesday were scouring the area where the cargo ship MV Ocean Winner reportedly sunk Saturday. The joint search by the Indian Coast Guard and the Indian Navy has been complicated by the area's exceptionally deep waters and found only an oil slick and 2 life rafts. The Coast Guard adding the vessel transporting iron ore to China was carrying 24 crew members, including 20 Chinese nationals, 3 Myanmar nationals and 1 Bangladeshi. I'm Charles Philadelphia.
The Kremlin condemns Britain's plans to help Ukraine with missile production. At the same time, Russia has turned to its allies, including North Korea and China, for support as it continues waging war on Ukraine. Townhall.com. This summer is set to be the UK's hottest ever, but while many native species have been struggling, one is offering a little respite.
London's parks and gardens have been parched.
I think the summer here has been pretty intense, just like anywhere else.
Spare one green corner, largely thanks to one animal, the beaver.
We're quite fortunate that with the beavers and the damming that they do, they are creating these deeper pools of water. They've did a lot of deeper channels and canals and things like that, so water has still remained on site.
Shinez Mustafa with the Ealing Beaver Project says the animal plays an important role in creating and maintaining wetlands. I'm Ben Thomas.
Australia's recording industry says tracks wholly generated by AI will be barred from official music charts. The move comes as the technology threatens artists' livelihoods. An AI-infused song recently spent 16 weeks on the charts in Australia. More on these stories, townhall.com.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code GODZILLA for free activation.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who loves the smell of napalm in the morning, John Fredericks.
Great to have you with us. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, coming to you live from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Why are we here? Well, big primary tonight. Trafalgar polls got it tied, 48-48. Nobody knows who's going to win. Depends on turnout, who turns up, who's got the intensity. I believe Ralph Norman is going to win this race, but we'll see what happens. We're going to be at his headquarters tonight, live, with a special broadcast, bringing you all the results starting at 7 p.m. Now, we try to go where we think the winner is going to be, but we'll see what happens. President Trump endorsed Darlene Graham, and obviously his support did a rally in Myrtle Beach is what is keeping her in this race, so we'll see what happens. But we'll find out soon enough. Probably this thing, it's only one race, probably over by what, 8:15, something like that, 9 maybe. But we're going to be on the air starting at 7 p.m. live in Rock Hill at the Ralph Norman headquarters. So all that coming up right here. Now, though, the number one pollster in America, the only one we trust and believe in, because there's all those fake polls out there, the one and only John McLaughlin of McLaughlinOnline.com. John, thanks for being with us. There we go. Hey, John.
Yeah.
Nice
Hello
to see
there.
you today. Yeah. Nice
You
tie.
can hear me okay, right? Good.
Oh, never better, John. You sound super. You look super.
Good.
I love having you on because all week we got to battle these fake polls. Now we got another polling company that basically made stuff up along with the first one we saw. And we got another polling company that we talked about a week ago saying that, Tom Cotton's losing to somebody you'd never heard of in a state that Trump won by like 50 points. I mean, this stuff just goes on. Then you got Larry Sabato coming out over the weekend saying it's crystal ball. He's now taken 14 races that lean Republican to toss up. So basically, if you watch the fake polls and the fake news media, we're going to lose 100 seats, 20 in the Senate, and everybody's going to die. What exactly is happening here, John?
What's happening is we're having a very close midterm election. I think, by the way, it'll be interesting in South Carolina tonight where you are, because this is their fourth primary. They've had two general primaries. They've had two runoffs. So it'll be interesting about voter turnout, because the primary to get to this runoff had just over 300,000 voters. When you in South Carolina, there's a lot of good people, and when they vote in Republican primaries, like when President Trump runs, it gets to be 1 million. So, but that tells you what's going to happen in the midterm, because the midterm is not a presidential election. So you see in these polls, like Economist YouGov comes out, and they poll like 1,611 adults. And then you go through their crosstabs, and they're saying, Trump 35% job approval. And you're going through their crosstabs, and you're looking and you say, well, they got more independents than Republicans or Democrats. They got more Democrats than Republicans. They got Trump 2024 voters, 34%. Now, we got 50% in the national vote. Now, granted, they're not going to come out like the 155 million that came out in 2025. It'll be more like what you had is in 2018, you had 118 million voters. In 2022, you had 112 million voters. So the turnout goes down. But still, it's going to be, you got to look at these polls of likely voters, not adults, not registered voters. You got to spend a little more money to keep people on the phone. And when they put out a poll that Trump has a 35% approval rating, the Republicans are losing a generic ballot for Congress, that's voter suppression. What they're trying to do is discourage us. Like 2 years ago with the Des Moines Register poll, they're trying to say that the Republicans can't win. And, in a lot of these states, they start voting in mid-September. And then you get states that everybody's voting by October. So you get, because with early voting and with mail-in ballots. So they're trying to suppress our vote. There's no other explanation for, like you saw the polls where they had the socialists. There's some polling firm that had Hong up in Wisconsin, the woman that wanted to abolish Thanksgiving for governor. And then they had El Sayed up by double digits, and he barely squeaked it out by 1%. Well, one of the socialist left-leaning polling firms threw in the towel, so you can't do it anymore. So it was like a drive-by by some new firm nobody ever heard of. And now you're going to see those. You're going to see those in September. But we're coming up in Dallas, the 9th and 10th. They should focus on making a contrast election between socialists and the Republicans, what they stand for on the issues, because it needs to be a debate about issues.
John, what do you look for in this convention in Dallas? Both of us are going to be there. We're kind of pointing to this as kind of the start of the campaign, the reset. When it was first concocted, I didn't like the idea. I thought, spend a lot of money. We could be in the field knocking on doors during that week. But the more I thought about it, what's going on right now, I love the idea. Bring President Trump in, motivate the base, try to capture the spirit we had coming out of Milwaukee and kind of do a reset on the narrative.
Right. I think it's important because it's definitely important that they have a like what you call the reset on the narrative. We haven't really set our own narrative. The Democrats are nominating these crazy radical candidates, and America doesn't know them. There's people that have crazy, certainly transgender operations for minor children. Their parents wouldn't know. They have things. Tallarico in Texas, there's God's 9 binary, and there's 6 genders, and this creepy stuff that he has with young kids. You get El Sayed. He traffics with some really dangerous people as we're coming up on the 25th anniversary of 9/11. There needs to be a focus on them, and Democrats, oppose President Trump's tax cuts, and they don't want to have more government spending, control health care. They want to have open borders. They want to go back to that, sanctuary cities. They support these laws that allowed criminals to come into the country and kill Americans. And you got to contrast with with the Republican success, where fentanyl deaths are down by the thousands. You have you have zero, near zero illegal immigration right now, as long as Trump is president. And most of all, you have a growing economy that's starting to percolate, and inflation is greatly reduced since Biden. So we need to really highlight those achievements and successes compared to the policies where the Democrats want to take us. And the key thing is the last time I was on the show, I mentioned that the generic ballot in our last July survey had the Republicans down only 2 points among 1,000 likely voters across the country. But when you ask in a choice between a Republican who's a free market capitalist versus a Democrat who's a big government socialist, we go up 13 points, a 15-point shift. So just by tagging them as a big government, key word is big government, because controlling our health care work. To the death point turn, and that's right. We're losing by 3 points. Independence.
Hey, John, you're breaking up a little bit. We got John breaking up. Let's get you to reset, John. Let's get John to reboot. Meantime, this segment is brought to you by Mike Lindell and MyPillow. Boy, you got kids going back to college, right? Grandkids or kids going to college. Why not reset them with MyPillow? Joe just went back to his new apartment, baseball apartment, a couple weeks ago. I don't know how much money Ann told me she saved thousands, probably $1,000, because got to get to a new apartment, out with the old, in with the new. And so the deal he's got going on right now is incredible. Everything is free shipping. I mean, she got towels, she got pillows, she got comforter, she got the mattress topper for him, because he's an athlete, has to be sleeping good, it's got to be comfortable. She got the comforter, she got the blanket, she got the Giza sheets, she got the pillowcases, she got socks, all from MyPillow. She got slippers. I mean, it was a phenomenal amount of money she saved getting Joe moved in there. And so when you talk about affordability and you talk about the things you're going to need for your home, and I tell you what, the towels are to die for. I mean, I got out of the shower today. I'm in Rock Hill, and, it's a decent hotel, right? Marriott, we stay in nice places. But I'm drying myself off with that towel. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, what is this? This is like cardboard manufactured. It looks like cloth. What happens is you get so accustomed to the comfort of MyPillow, and then you go to a hotel. It's like, this sucks, right? I normally I bring my pillow. I didn't, forgot it. I was in a hurry, so I had to sleep on their pillows. Not as good. Everything they have, and they get this great sale going on right now. Mike Lindell's got it going on for your kid or grandkid going to college, or for yourself. They got a great sale right now. Some things are marked down 80%. You just can't beat this stuff. So I encourage everybody, and Mike Lindell does a super job. Free shipping. Just go to MyPillow.com. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Godzilla. All the savings are going to be there. Promo code Godzilla, or you can give them a call, 800-854-0504. Operators standing by. They love to talk to you. 800-854-0504. Call MyPillow now. Take advantage of some of these great deals because they're really incredible. I mean, the quality is there, the prices are there, and it's free shipping, all with promo code Godzilla. MyPillow.com, promo code Godzilla, and you're good to go. Okay, we got John back. We got him set up. There we go, John. All right, we're good. Let's get to some of these races. I just want, the polling is ridiculous. I look at Michigan. I can't imagine watching this race and seeing Mike Rogers not win. And you got one poll's got Elsiad up by 12. That's a complete joke. Rogers going to win that. What do you see there?
Well, there was a Fabrizio poll that was out over the end of last week where it was a 1 point difference, 48-47. It's a dead heat, Michigan.
How is this guy getting 47%?
Are you hearing me, John?
Yeah, John. How is this guy getting 47% of the vote?
it's a battleground state, and when President Trump was running, it was close, for 3 different elections. And so what you've got here is you've got the anti-Trump forces, and the other part is there's a lot of people that go to their corners for the teams, like whether they're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, and the media is not focused on El Sayed's record. The outrageous things that you and I know about El Sayed, about where he stands, his radical positions, whether government control of healthcare, whether it's higher taxes, whether it's his sympathy for Hamas terrorists, etc., his anti-American policies or stances, where the fact that he supports our enemies, or at least gives verbal support to the enemies of the United States, Hassan Piker, etc., these crazy radicals, that does not get play in the mainstream media. CNN censors it, MSNBC, kind of ignored it, and the big major networks, whether ABC, NBC, CBS, they ignore that stuff. So, and right now, looking at your 70 days out, and no one has really made it in terms of campaign advertising. You're going to see a lot more advertising to get out LA's record and where he stands on the issues, because the media won't carry those stories because they're anti-Trump.
I don't see Al Sayed winning this race. I would be shocked if Mike Rogers didn't win. I think Rogers fits Michigan. He's more of a moderate. He ran the last time and he was very competitive. He's been in Congress. I just don't see it. I just don't see average people in Michigan voting for a radical Muslim jihadist who goes on a show who says the problem with 9/11 is not enough Americans died, who says, I like to wipe my ass with the Constitution. That's about what it's good for. I just can't imagine this is a choice that if you live in Michigan, you're going to make. I just can't imagine it.
Well, the things that you're saying about him is not being conveyed in the mainstream press. Instead, they're using his euphemisms to say, to Detroit voters or Grand Rapids voters, he's for Medicare for all. That sounds nice. It's government control of healthcare. The other things you just said, that's not coming across in the legacy media. So the campaign's really about to begin. This is typical of what needs to be highlighted at the Dallas convention. The Republicans, prominently call this out and say, to Dallas, what would be really interesting is if the legacy media carries the convention. It's never been held before, midterm.
Are they going to carry it?
I'm sure Newsmax, Fox News. I don't know. The President Trump gave a national address about election integrity. ABC, NBC, CNN, they censored it.
What do you think about the ruling?
So we'll see.
What do you think about the SCOTUS ruling yesterday on the mail-out ballots and the United States Postal Service position that if the states don't give their voter rolls over to the federal government for scrutiny to the Department of Justice, they're simply not going to enter them in the mail stream because they don't know who they're getting the mail to. But the Supreme Court was a good ruling, but they basically gave an opening and said, well, this is really about standing, which means it's going to come back to them. To me, that's one of the most critical decisions going to get made, because the Democrats, in order to win, have to cheat. And if this thing stands in the Supreme Court as it is now, they're only going to be able to mail out ballots to legit voters. I mean, that is, in these swing seats, right. I mean, that is Republican wins, because they win by cheating, and everybody knows that. That follows this stuff. What do you see the Supreme Court doing when it matters?
Well, hopefully they come down on the side of integrity, as you just have. But this, again, it's really important. And Republicans want to know, if you're a DC Republican in the Beltway, and you want to know why Republicans are for U.S. Senate in a lot of places, just consider that they can't pass the Save America Act, where 84% of all voters in our most recent polls for the Tea Party Patriots say that 84% say proof of citizenship. They want that. 7% say they want photo ID in order to vote. The Republican. And in May, we did a poll, 50, they need to pass that. Only 28% said save the filibuster.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're busy saving the filibuster and not protecting elections, you can lose Senate races, particularly because it tells your base you're not standing up for them. You're not standing for honest elections. And so, the Supreme Court, what they did was really important. And it's really important that the Republican Party and the president and the White House and Republican leaders pursue that we have honest elections. But the most important legislation about the election is stalled in the Senate. And it's just, it's depressing to the base. It's inexplicable. And you get Republican senators that don't want to vote for it. It makes it really hard for the base to say, I'm fired up to go out and vote for this person. So that's, there's a lot of work to be done. And the Democrats, like you said, if there's close elections, they're going to have voter suppression polls out there that would lose, that the Democrats are going to take the House, they're going to take the Senate, et cetera. You'll see the fake polls. There'll be plenty of them. We saw plenty of them in 2016, and Hillary.
We saw them in 2020. We saw them in 2024. I mean, if you watch the fake polls in 2020, Biden was going to win in a landslide. 44,000 votes basically determined the outcome, if you even believe that. I'm one of the people that think Trump won in 2020. So because of the fake, all the fake ballots coming out. So these polls are never accurate. And I think we're going to do much better. We're going to win the LePage seat in Maine. Is Collins going to hang on and win that race?
When you look at it in 2020, the last time she ran for Senate, President Trump got 44% of the vote in the state, but she got 51. So she's a bit of a maverick that she can do that again. But her first opponent, obviously the statute of limitations is run out because they're not proceeding with the whatever, those poor women that said that accused him of certain things. They're not furthering the cases there. But then you get the stories about this fellow Troy Jackson, the new nominee for the Democrats, and the mainstream media is burying the negative stories again. So she's going to have a challenge, and she's been a survivor, so we'll see. But they're going to throw everything they can into states like Maine and Michigan and North Carolina, Georgia, and there's polls coming out where they're saying Iowa and Ohio are close. So, but again, it goes to the idea that if you can't get your base out,
it's a base election. I mean, we got to get our base out,
Iowa,
right? I mean, if we don't get our base out,
Ohio,
John, if we don't get the base out, we lose. Yeah, we lose.
Close, and we don't want them close.
You got to get your base out, and hopefully Dallas can help. Dallas can help do that. Final thing, Alaska. I mean, a Democrat hasn't won a Senate seat in Alaska since, I think, James Garfield was president. What's the deal with this guy, Sullivan? The Democrats coming out with polls saying that it's close.
Ironically, in 2004, Tony Knowles was up, and he could have won. He could have beaten Murkowski in 2004. And we went after him. I worked for the Senate committee to help Senator Murkowski get elected, that he was against the pipeline. And we ended up winning. And she's been there since, but they changed the election law. After Senator Murkowski had voted for impeachment against Donald Trump, instead of having closed primaries, you had this top four go into a November election so that it would help her preserve her Senate seat. Well, Dan Sullivan have nominated some other guy they found in the phone book, Dan Sullivan, and it drained 2%. So Mary Peltola, who got 48% to Sullivan's 46%, the difference was this other Dan Sullivan got 2%, plus there's another candidate that's going to be on the ballot. So you're going to have an extremely close election in a state where Donald Trump got 54% of the vote and was reelected decisively, and it shouldn't be that way. So there's going to be a battle in Alaska, and I've worked there before, and the majority of voters are good Republican voters. A lot of them have a libertarian stance. They have heck, I used to work up there when you had the Alaska Independence Party. I used to work for Wally Hickel. So, but they're losing some of that edge. But as far as the November election goes, Sullivan should get reelected. He's a solid senator, but the Democrats are finding a way, like you said. Maybe they can't commit a fraud on the thing. And Sullivan, we'll confuse you a little bit, and you won't vote for the Republicans. So that's what's going on.
They put the money up to get his signatures and get him on the ballot. I mean, the whole thing's a fraud. John McLaughlin, I want to thank you for being with us. President Trump's pollster. Go to McLaughlin Online. McLaughlin Online. John, thanks for being with us and bringing sanity to polling here. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Mehek Cook next. Ballots in the mail. She's all over it. Stay with us.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Folks, this is Crime Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com, and use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Solti. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
I spent my career building a business, but I couldn't stand by while Washington spent money it didn't have. So I got in the fight, and I never forgot who elected me. This election is about the America we pass on to your family and mine. We inherited freedom. Now it's our turn to defend it, to strengthen it, and to leave America stronger than we found it. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman, and I approve this message.
Put
News Talk WJFV is your.
Some guys might decide that it's a little too tough, or it's a little too hard, it's a little too demanding. I'll give you a little example. I got an anonymous letter from a parent. It said, we're just kind of bummed out this year that the boys only get 2 weeks off before they start their summer conditioning program. Normally they get 3. Well, we gave them a week at the start of the semester rather than at the end. But here's my point, okay? It's Division I football! It's the Big 12! It ain't intramurals! You got 2 weeks after finals, you got a week of July 4th, and you got a week before camp starts. That's a month! That's probably more vacation than you guys get. And we're a little bummed out that we don't get 3 weeks?
Don't touch that dial. You've found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Okay, you got him. I'm back, and I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your Oracle of the deplorables. Thanks for being us. As always, can't wait to get to Dallas. That's going to be our big reset. Don't forget, download my free app, jfmn.tv. jfmn.tv. You can get our TV channel live now, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday, 13 hours a day, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. Don't want to miss this. It's going to be so much fun. Yay, rah, rah, let's go. Google Play or the App Store. Just put in jfmn.tv and you're good to go. Of course, following me, the great Wendy Bell Live at 10. Don't want to miss that. Rob Carson, noon. Today, we got a special edition, National 1 o'clock, Coach Rich Rodriguez, West Virginia University football coach, raring to go. Don't want to miss that. That'll be 1 o'clock live across all of our networks. There's only one Rich Rod, and we're going to get him going at 1 o'clock today, about 15 minutes we'll have him for, and then go back to Rob Carson, and then, of course, Michael Patrick Leahy, 3 to 5, and Katz and Cosby, 5 to 6, and then Game On America Sports, 6 to 7, all right here on the John Fredericks Media Network. So thank you. I'm live today in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Rock Hill, great to be with you. And let's get to Mehek Cook is with us. She's part of the election integrity spokesperson team, communications team at the Republican National Committee here in D.C. I'm in Rock Hill today for the big primary. By the way, we're going to be live tonight at 7 o'clock at Ralph Norman headquarters in Rock Hill. Don't want to miss that. Special national programming covering this race live, bringing you all the guests and all the insights to who's going to win that. One poll out, Trafalgar, it is tied, 48-48. Can't get closer than that. It's going to depend on turnout. See who wins that. Okay, joining me now is Mehek Cook. Mehek, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, John.
Break down this ruling by the Supreme Court yesterday on what I think is going to be the most critical aspect of Republicans having a fighting chance to win these midterms, which I still believe we will. But we got to get these fake ballots out of the mail system. In a great ruling yesterday, they said, look, right now the lawsuits are gone. It's going to stand. But they also said it was too early. It was on standing. They didn't make a formal permanent ruling, but they did tip their hand a little bit, right? Because they could have simply said, they're fine. It's gone. Trump can't do that. The administration doesn't have the jurisdiction. What are your thoughts here on these fake mail-out ballots?
Well, John, first of all, you couldn't stop President Trump's executive order. It's about election integrity. And what the Supreme Court said is, guys, where's the harm? President Trump hasn't even been able to push election integrity, which many states do well. As you know, many states don't. We have a lot of illegals voting. The Civil Rights Division and the DOJ has explicitly showed you between New Jersey, California, DHS has numbers of illegal voters. So all President Trump said was, let's verify. And he has the USPS, which is our postal service. They're going to get a list of eligible voters. They don't determine eligibility. Guess who does that? The states, which is their job. They should be working with the feds. And then all we're trying to do is verify the ballot so that we don't have, as you said, for instance, fake ballots going to individuals that shouldn't be on a list, ballots going to Skid Row in California to homeless people that don't exist or an address. I'm sure you've tracked the case of the woman who was on Skid Row just getting people to sign up, and all the ballots were going to her house. John, at some point we have to say timeout, pause. This is American election integrity. This is our national security. So that's all the order does. And it's a massive win because every time President Trump tries to do something that's common sense, the Democrats just lose it because it's a threat on their power, because their only way to win is to lie, cheat, and steal. And it's been our elections from day one. First, they gerrymandered because they screamed racism. Then they started importing illegal immigrants into our country because of Joe Biden. And now they want to mail ballots to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that doesn't deserve it, that isn't a US citizen. So this is a massive win. And we're using the Postal Service as just making sure the ballot matches the name. That is it. So I expect states to sue again once they have to implement this. The 20 plus liberal states that don't want to do their job, that want to make sure illegals vote. But for the most part, this is a slam dunk for President Trump because what's his agenda? Get illegals out, make sure we're safe, make sure our elections are safe and secure. So I see this as a win, and I think the American people are excited on both sides. This should help Democrats too. If your guy's going to win, prove it. Prove you're a U.S. citizen.
So basically, what this says is what the ruling is that the blue states have to send their voter list to the Department of Justice, who will then independently verify whether or not the voters that are getting mail-out ballots are legit voters. They're citizens, they're registered, they're not illegals, they're not here on some kind of visa, that that they have a legit address, they're a legit voter. Then it goes back, and then the USPS, which is a federal agency, the post office is not a state-run agency, says, okay, this is the list that we have, and whoever you want your mail-out ballot, if it matches this list, we'll mail it out. If it doesn't, we're not, because we're not going to be part of your fraud. That's basically what the order said, right? We're not going to mail ballots out to people that are not registered voters and we can't verify the address. What is the problem with that?
There is no problem, which is why the Supreme Court actually said, you're not harmed yet. And what is a state going to say? I don't want to follow federal law because I want illegals voting in an American election, and that's the harm because Democrats won't win. I mean, with a straight face now, can you really argue that? We're upset because we can no longer have illegal steal elections for us. That's the harm, John. Like, let's just be honest with the American people. And the Democrats don't want to admit that, which is why they sued. They will stop and sue every chance they get from this administration. That is just what they're going to do because they want to stop President Trump's agenda. And the midterms is really a referendum on one thing only. Forget the candidate even on the ballot. It's, do you want President Trump's promise in America tomorrow, or do you want communism? That's the only choice we have.
So, you said one thing interesting, that there was no harm. The Supreme Court said, well, there's no harm. But I guess what the fake news has been saying is, well, this is not really a permanent ruling. Basically, they're saying the states don't have standing. There's no harm today, but there could be harm tomorrow. And it could go 5-4 the other way when Amy Coney Barrett sells us out with Roberts. True or false?
Look, I hope that the justices do the right thing and they follow the law. And you would really have to prove some substantial harm or cost. This is where the federal government is helping to administer. They're doing checks only. If we were putting, or President Trump was putting a new requirement on the Postal Service to verify citizenship, I throw my hands up and say, that's not what the Postal Service is supposed to do. And now we have to look for a budget. We need to look for checks. We have to employ more people. None of that's happening. They get to be the laziest people in the country. They get to sit at their desk, check a box and say, they're on the list by the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, the feds. Either they're US citizens or they're not. And it's, what's so funny to me is you're allowed to attest you're a US citizen in some states, but you can't have the federal government attest whether somebody's a US citizen or not. Suddenly that's a federal harm. I mean, we have to stop lying to the American people. The Democrats are so far off base, and this is again going to prove our elections have not been secure for decades now, John.
So this whole thing is so ridiculous. The way you laid it out, Mehek, is very, very, very clear. I mean, either you're a citizen or you're not. You either check the box or you don't. I just failed to see where the scandalous behavior is here. I mean, do they not agree that only registered voters that are U.S. citizens should vote? I mean, that's the law. It's inconceivable to me. What is your problem? Well, it's voter suppression. How is it suppression? You're suppressing people that aren't legitimately allowed to vote because you're not here legally, or you're not a citizen, or you're not something, but you're not a registered voter that is a citizen. How is that voter suppression?
Well, it is for Democrats because that's the only way they win. See, the whole problem is that our Census Bureau counts legal and illegal immigrants. And that's how you expand our congressional maps. And what Democrats in, let's just say, California and New York have banked on is when Joe Biden imported millions of illegals, terrorists, gangbangers, cartel members, all into our country. All those individuals were counted to increase congressional seats, to increase Democrat control. And then ballots are going to all of these individuals. I don't know if I've shared with you, I sat in Columbus, Ohio, and I called a, a workout facility in California. Cheapest one there, I think it's $10 a month. I said, I'm in California. I don't have my ID. I need a gym membership card. And they said, just bypass our front desk, go online, get your membership. And guess what? After that, I can go and I can use the gym membership to vote in California. I mean, that is the system we're dealing with today, where everybody's trying to bypass just normal things like showing identification. But for some reason, when I go to Target and I have to return diapers or something for my children, guess what they want, John? My identification. They want to prove that I am the same person who's returning $10 diapers. So Target can ask for a voter or my identification, but we can't in the real world. But it's about the expansion of the congressional map. That's how Democrats have rigged our system, in addition to gerrymandering. Anytime they used to scream racism, they got what they wanted. Well, not with this president. DE&I is dead now. We need to make sure that every voter gets equal representation. And honestly, 2020 was stolen because every time you have an illegal vote, it takes away your vote, John, mine, and anybody listening to this program. We are canceled by illegal immigrant voters.
That's the name of the game. That's how they win. They have to cheat. That's why they're going to fight this tooth and nail. Hopefully, the Supreme Court will see it the president's way. And all the Democrats have to do, all these blue states have to do, is send their voting rolls to the Department of Justice to be sure they're cleaned up. That's it. And if they're fine, then they'll send them back and say they're fine. If they're not, they'll have the voters taken out that they can't verify. I mean, this is so simple. It's beyond me that we're having this fight because the only reason you're fighting is because you want to cheat, and this is taking the ability to cheat away. There's no other reason. Comment on a couple things. You're talking about the census, and the Supreme Court ruled last time around. I don't care how you're in the country. Maybe you parachuted in from the Chinese balloon that flew over. Doesn't matter. You're going to be counted in the census. President Trump and his lawyers have challenged that going into 2030. Where does that stand now?
Look, I haven't seen any rulings and what the future holds, but I think as we make the case for election integrity for Democrats, Republicans, and independents, the one thing is for sure, if we're going to use the census, then we should only be counting legal immigrants, which are equivalent to US citizens, because that way you get the most accurate representation. When you send your member to Congress, that they're representing you and I, US citizens. They're not there for the illegals. I know the Democrats are. If you're a US citizen, though, you shouldn't be. You should be representing your constituents. So I'm still waiting to see what happens with that case. I think it's critical for the justices to really think about what the census is intended for. And if we need to do a new count or a recount or a different count, then this is the president to do it under. Create another census that's just like the Save America Act, but specifically to count US citizens.
Well, that's the way it should be, because that's you're representing U.S. citizens. You're not representing. It's like you're not representing another country. This is the absurdity of what the census ruling it was.
But
You're
John, they
here
are. I
illegally.
mean,
It's
they are
basically
representing another country.
exactly.
I mean, they're for Somalians. They're for any other country that allows for fraud, waste, and abuse of US dollars rather than us. And they're consistent, John, from our elections and making sure they represent illegals. I mean, who's the senator who, Van Hollen, who went out to go see Albrego Garcia and have
Right.
margaritas with him
And
after
Maryland's
his
father.
heinous, yeah, after his heinous crimes in the US? I mean, they are for anybody but America. They want to change the fabric of our country. That's why they've allowed hundreds of thousands of millions of individuals from Somalia to come in here to continue not only in Minnesota, but in Ohio to conduct fraud. And then they stand by these individuals that are lying, stealing American taxpayer dollars. But this is all by design. How do you change American values? You dump illegals and individuals here who hate us, and yet you as an American taxpayer have to pay for them. You as an American taxpayer can't do anything except vote for strong Republicans. That's why this midterm matters so much. Forget the candidate. Think about the policies that you're voting for.
You're in Ohio. Give us an update on the governor's race.
Well, I was just with Apurva and Vivek Ramaswamy last night in Delaware County. And what we're really seeing is Vivek's campaign has gone to all 88 counties, not once, he's doing it twice. And he's really talking about, I know Ohio is a red state. Let me be very clear. We've been on autopilot, John. We need far more in economic development. We need to make sure we never have a little Dr. Fauci like Amy Acton. And for those who don't know, she was the first health director in the state to push to not only shut down a Republican state, to take our children out of schools, to push for that poison in vaccines and to inject it in people's bodies. That is who's running. So Vivek has made his mission very clear. He wants to ensure that he puts Ohio first. He puts us on the map. He fights for school choice. He lowers property taxes. And we finally can be the best state in the country leading. So I have watched not only his ground support continue to swell, I'm also watching the fact that he's bringing common sense and he's going to break down destructive programs like Medicaid that have been giving over $1.1 billion to Medicaid recipients that don't deserve them. I mean, there's so many broken systems in government, even under Republican control. Vivek is an outsider that's saying enough is enough. He's going to dismantle and rebuild. And I think this is a moment for Ohio and every state that wants freedom and choice and liberty over somebody who is going to push for socialist ideas and lock down our state. And I also got to tell you, do you remember Sherrod Brown?
Yeah, what's the deal with the U.S. Senate race there?
Well, he's definitely running, John. After 50 years, he couldn't find a job. And the biggest message in Ohio, in terms of, again, the choice is Sherrod Brown has been for defunding the police, open borders, boys and girls sports. He voted 99.9% of the time with the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden. And he doesn't have to wear a DSA hat to say, I'm part of the socialist communist movement today. But as you know, Democrats have been held hostage. Sherrod is in lockstep with them. And so, again, we have a choice in Ohio. John Husted, our sitting senator, who's always going to put our country first and continues to vote with President Trump to secure our borders, to bring economic development and choices in Ohio, or Sherrod Brown, the communist, who's going to come in and ruin our state. It's no longer in New York and California, John. Socialism, this communism, this it's like a mind virus. It's across our country.
I mean, it's amazing that Sherrod Brown, I mean, you look at the polls there. I don't know how accurate they are. They're probably fake, but it's got him with a sizable lead. And I'm like, who on earth could vote this guy back in Ohio?
Well, I'll tell you, he comes off as this good old boy with his construction boots and his denim and his aw shucks. But he's a different man in Washington, D.C. He is somebody who you just have to look at records today because he has a remarkable record of being 100% with Democrats. And when you have communists that have taken over the party, every single candidate is being held hostage now by these crazy left-wing ideas. And Sherrod's no different. He showed us Medicare for all, open borders, and making sure that women don't even exist. Boys and girls sports. I mean, all the loony ideas that we got rid of by ensuring that President Trump was in office and John Husted had that seat. But I do think polling is off. This is the midterms. I think you have low turnout, but my biggest message is get out there and vote. I mean, President Trump is literally putting a convention on, John, that you said you were going to be at. But we need to raise awareness about the midterms. We need to talk about how critical it is.
Well, a lot of us are pointing to this convention, like I am, as basically I call it the midterm narrative reset, where we can seize the initiative, talk about the great policies that President Trump has put into place that have helped the American people, and have a pathway of what we're going to do going forward and how we're going to get this done. The Democrats have no solutions or answers. You know, I'm playing clips earlier about, Meeks is coming on, Representative Meeks saying, we're going to pass legislation to make things more affordable. Okay, give me one bill. Like, give me one thing you're going to do other than tax people and give them money to your constituents or take their houses or confiscate their bank accounts or something. What exactly are you going to do? Well, they don't have a single plan. Certainly blew up in their face in Virginia, blew up in their face in New Jersey. So I don't know what they're going to do to bring prices down. It's all nonsense. But this is basically what they're banking on. I look for Dallas to be the rollout of our campaign where we get back on track and seize the initiative so that we can be proud of what we've done and then lay a blueprint going forward that's very, very specific. I think if we can do that, we can win. What say you?
I agree with you. And I think the more Republicans talk about our messaging and what we're going to do, the better off we're going to be. If you get stuck with the communist and the crazy talk, you've lost the American people. Let's start talking about our campaign, our platform, and our deliveries for the American people. Everything else is a distraction, John. It's like you said, you watched Hakeem Jeffries. He doesn't know what he stands for. He said, I don't stand for this. I don't stand for defunding the police. I don't stand for Medicare for all, even though he had legislation to pass it. At some point, Hakeem Jeffries, Democrats, what do you stand for? They don't know.
Winning in power, baby. That's
correct.
It. Heck, people want to follow you. Where do they go? Quickly.
I'm on X at Mahek Cook, and hopefully on your show weekly. So it's great to be with you.
Good to be here. Are you going to be in Dallas?
I will see you there. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Okay. Stay with us. Mountaineer Mavericks, West Virginia next.
Today, the Canadians are expected to announce retaliatory tariffs on American goods in response to moves that President Trump has said are designed to level the playing field with our neighbor to the north. Ruling 6-3, the Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to advance mail ballot safeguards.
The court declined to stop President Trump's executive order restricting mail-in ballot distribution. However, the justices did not rule on the order's legality, saying the 23 Democrat-led states and Washington, D.C. challenged it too early based on speculative concerns. The policy directs agencies to compile voter eligibility lists and requires the Postal Service to send ballots only to approved voters. The administration is moving quickly to put safeguards in place before the November 3rd elections. Ken Lorman reporting.
As kids head back to school, President Trump is highlighting his administration's efforts to expand school choice and safeguard girls' sports for biological girls.
As we remove the far-left extremism from the classroom, we're taking historic action to ensure that every child in America has access to a first-class education. The United States spends more money on education than any other country in the world by double.
The results, says the president, should be better than they are. The Reno, Nevada wildfire continues to burn, although crews are making some progress reining it in, with at least 27% containment so far. On Wall Street, ahead of the opening bell, the Dow futures 229 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
With the high price of new and used cars today, Many drivers are choosing to keep their vehicles a lot longer. But with the average car now over 12 years old, most manufacturers' warranties have expired. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is out of warranty, a single trip to the mechanic could cost you thousands. That's why smart drivers choose Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, Endurance could have your car covered for the drivetrain, electrical, AC, transmission, and more. And Endurance is with you every step of the way, from filing a claim to paying the mechanic of your choice directly. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. Call Endurance now and choose the plan that fits your budget. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-303-4223. 800-303-4223. 800-303-4223.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
The European heat wave isn't only uncomfortable and in some cases deadly for people.
In Britain, this summer's heat and drought have put increasing pressure on native wildlife, like the hedgehog.
We're getting single hedgehogs in rather than a family.
Yvonne Cox is the founder of the Hedgehog Rescue Sanctuary.
Little single hoglets coming in who are much smaller for their development. So it's like they haven't had enough food, whether mum hasn't been able to feed them because she hasn't had enough food, hasn't produced the milk.
Drought has been declared in almost 3/4 of England.
The puddles and the ponds dry up, so water starts to become difficult for them to source. Also, the ground begins to get baked.
Further trouble.
They can't dig the soil to get the worms and the grubs and etc.
I'm Ben Thomas.
A tornado has ravaged a small village in southern France, leaving dozens of people injured. 39 in all were injured, including 2 critically hurt. News and analysis, townhall.com. The newspaper has been ordered to rehire an employee who trashed TPUSA founder Charlie Kirk after he was killed in Utah.
The Washington Post has been ordered to reinstate the fired columnist who went off bashing conservative Charlie Kirk after he was assassinated. An arbitrator forcing the newspaper to give a platform to the former Global Opinions editor Karen Attia, despite her remarks on social media, and that the Washington Post did not have good and sufficient cause to fire the opinion columnist.
Correspondent Laura Winters reporting. In California, the state Senate has passed a bill to fine content creators who do not disclose that they were paid to post in support of a political candidate or an issue on the ballot. The bill now heads to the state assembly there before it can head to the desk of California Governor Gavin Newsom. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
The establishment has already picked their candidate. Same old playbook, same old insiders. I'm not their choice. And this election is not for sale. The stakes are too high for political games. The Socialist Democrats are a threat to America. South Carolina needs a proven conservative with a record of fighting for you. You shouldn't have to guess where your next senator stands. With me, you already know. I'm Ralph Norman. I approve this message, and I'm asking for your vote.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who once told Don Corleone, thanks, but no thanks. John Fredericks.
Well, it's time for Mountaineer Mavericks. This is John Fredericks, and I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. Thanks for being with us. Well, we got the gang all here from West Virginia, and more fireworks are going off. That's because we run everything. Unlike Washington, D.C., where I'm from, where, well, there is no Republican Party. It doesn't exist. we don't have one. Maybe someday we will if I get elected, but other than that, there's nothing going on here. So that's why we got to go to West Virginia. Great to have you with us. As always, I'm live today in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Probably saying to yourself, Fredericks, why are you in Rock Hill, California? Well, this is the campaign headquarters and the victory party tonight for U.S. Senate candidate, Congressman, my friend Ralph Norman. New poll, tied, Trafalgar, 48-48 with Darlene Graham. Special show. Got a couple of announcements before the gang gets on. Special show tonight, 7 p.m. We're going to be live in Rock Hill at Norman headquarters. I'm predicting right now that he wins based on the polling that I saw. It's going to be about intensity and turnout, and I think you're going to get that from Ralph Norman. This race is only competitive because President Trump has endorsed Darlene, what's her name? Graham, is that her name, Dan?
Something like that.
Something like that. What'd she change her name?
Graham.
Gnome. Something like that. It's if she can only find Taiwan on a map, she'd be good to go. But we'll see what happens. And we're going to be there live. Special show at 7 o'clock. Also, this is going to fire up the Mountaineer Mavericks. Guess what's happening at 1 o'clock live on the John Fredericks Media Network nationally? Probably saying, oh, Fredericks, I can't wait. What's happening here in West Virginia? What? Why is it going live? Why is it national? Well, Coach Rich Rod sitting down with me and Quinn Roby, WVSportsNation.com, a special edition. Coach Rich Rodriguez of the West Virginia Mountaineers is going to be sitting down with us. That's going to be carried live across the nation and on TV at 1 p.m. today. So how can I get it on TV? How can I get it on TV? It's easy. All I got to do is download a free app for a TV channel. Just go to jfmn.tv, Google Play, or the App Store, jfmn.tv. You want to get it before 1 o'clock. We got Rich Rod. We got him live at 1 o'clock today across the country. You say, well, why is he running nationally? That's Rich Rodriguez. He's a national figure. That's why we run him nationally. Plus, big time WVU over, what was it? 5.5, right? Wins on the season, 5-5. Oh, I bet over big. Over big. Yeah. We're going to win 6 games. We're going to a bowl game. Over big on Godzilla Wins. Go to GodzillaWins.com. That's my announcements for today. This segment brought to you by Hope Gas. Pretty soon we'll actually get to the segment. Brought to you by Hope Gas. West Virginia's for Hope. I love Hope Gas. Why? Well, they power all of our 9 radio stations for WV The Torch in the Morgantown area. Find out why it's time for West Virginia to shine again. WVisforHope.com. WVisforHope.com. Hope Gas, dedicated to serving their customers like me in West Virginia. Learn more about their history, how they provide great service, and see how Hope Gas is improving the lives of the communities they serve. They proudly provide safe and reliable natural gas service to approximately 140,000 homes and businesses throughout the Mountain State, especially mine. They proudly serve West Virginia. More information, go to hopegas.com. That's hopegas.com. All right, thank you, Hope Gas. Okay, live from Rock Hill, let's bring in the West Virginia Mountaineers and our esteemed panel today because we got a lot going on. And let's see who we got. We've got Michael Haidt. We've got my senator in Morgantown, Senator Oliverio. And we've got the Italian stallion, Gino Chiarelli, also my delegate there in Morgantown. So the gang's all here. I wish Michael Haidt was one of my representatives, but he's not. I got to buy a station where Wheeling for you to be a representative. Where are you? Panhandle? Mike? I always forget. Haidt?
His audio's not working. He's from Berkeley County, Eastern Panhandle.
Gino Chiarelli named the spokesperson for Delegate Michael Haidt. Gino, you got a real future.
Thank you, Gino.
You got a real future, Gino. The spokesperson for Michael Haidt. Don't you like how Gino just jumps in there, right? You know your panel is working when everybody's got everybody's back. So Michael Berkeley, okay, let's go. Let's get on to, this thing that's going on in West Virginia right now with all the fighting that's going on amongst the Republicans. Did we ever find out about the Republicans that went to a Democrat fundraiser? Did we ever get to the bottom of this? Because the delegate never followed up with me, so I never got any names. Did we ever get to the bottom of that, guys?
I haven't heard anything since Delegate Anders made that accusation a couple of weeks ago, and I asked a few people, and nobody that I've talked to was at that fundraiser. So I don't know how much truth there is to it, but that's up to Delegate Anders to find out.
Well, I've asked them now for 3 weeks. You come on my show, you make allegations. I ask them for 3 weeks. I got no names, so I don't think it's real. And you really can't do that. You really can't go on public radio, make allegations, and not back it up. So I'm kind of pissed at that, to be honest, because I don't think there's any truth at all to that, because nothing's been verified. Gino, let's get to where we are right now with the utility situation in West Virginia. A lot of people complaining about the utility bills. There's an affordability issue. What are you guys doing coming up in the House in order to tackle that one issue, Gino?
Well, I think that's certainly on the minds of a lot of legislators as they go in. I think one of the issues that's affected both me and Senator Oliverio here is the power reliability has been called into question a number of times. I tried to address this about a month, maybe month and a half ago with First Energy. I sent them a letter. I did end up getting a response from them, and it was pretty positive. They informed me of some of the plans that they have to upgrade infrastructure. They talked about some of their historical performance versus the performance that we've seen over the last 3 years. And as we've seen, especially this summer, there's been an increase in weather events. They're struggling to keep up with it. So they were very open with me, and I'm appreciative of it. As we get closer and we talk about what we have to do to lower utility rates, that's going to be on the plates of our energy committees. I know Senator Rose is he is all in on that. I'm not an energy policy expert per se, but to me, it seems like unleashing West Virginia's energy capacity or our capabilities, making sure that we are all in natural gas, coal, looking towards the future, open up the conversation for nuclear, anything that we could do to create more power so we can power our people's homes. I think that's what we need to be thinking about.
Senator Oliverio, where are we now on coal here? Where exactly are we?
Oh, coal continues to be an important part of the West Virginia economy and the nation's energy supply. Think of it as the base, the bottom of the grid. Across the bottom is coal. And then from that, you build the other types of energy. No, it's not where it was 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, but it's a critical component of our nation's ability to maintain electricity throughout our country. If you ever want an example of the absence of coal, just go to every home in America on Super Bowl Sunday and turn off the lights, the TV, and the heat, and people will appreciate what coal does for them. The reality is, though, there are other sources of energy now that are filling that void, some of them in a more affordable way. And so these different types of power generation have to work together. So coal continues to be important. Natural gas is important. The county that Gino and I both represent has 2 proposed natural gas power plants in the works. And so that could be very important in our area. What coal really offers is the ability to stockpile the coal around the plant and operate. And it's really hard to do that with most other forms of energy. You need very expensive batteries and other types of equipment to do that. Whereas a coal-fired power plant, you can pile up coal all around that plant and keep going through a difficult winter season.
Tell me about as you guys go forward in the new session coming up, some of the biggest issues that are going to really transform the state as you go into 27. I don't know, anybody jump in for our listeners. Just give them a flavor of what you guys are going to be working on.
I think the biggest challenge we face in West Virginia, amidst many opportunities and very many positive things, the biggest challenge we face is our demographics. We need more young people. We need more people in the workforce. And so really every situation that we look at, whether it's a problem or whether it's an opportunity, we have to look at it through that lens of what can we be doing to retaining our young people in West Virginia, making sure they're educated and trained to do these jobs of the future, and then also efforts to bring other people into West Virginia. And those are our challenges. And so really everything that we work on in our state legislature has to be based on that.
How would you rate your infrastructure now?
I think it's improving. We have a unique challenge in West Virginia, similar to 3 or 4 other states in the country, where our state division of highways is responsible for almost all of the roadways. Many of the other states in the country are bigger states, sometimes better funded, more funding streams for revenue. And so they have different levels of government that have different road and bridge responsibilities. Whereas the West Virginia Division of Highways is responsible for about 38,000 miles of road and about 7,000 bridges. And we don't even call it a bridge unless it's 20 feet or more in distance. So we struggle to keep up with our roads and bridges, but much work is being done. All you have to do is drive through West Virginia and you'll see significant projects underway.
Mike Height, as you talk to your constituents in Berkeley, and I know that affordability is one of the biggest issues. Gas prices obviously are something that's on everybody's mind. But as you talk to constituents, and we'll get the other guys' campaigns in a minute, what is the number one thing that they're saying as you go door to door, as you get through this campaign? What are your constituents in that part of the state telling you is bothering them or on their mind?
Well, I think some of it is that they believe that the rest of West Virginia doesn't understand the dynamics of the Eastern Panhandle, and the cost of living it's up here in and around Northern Virginia, and what it costs to live up here. And we talked also about infrastructure. As this area has grown, and a lot of corporations have moved into this area. It feeds into the West Virginia revenue coffers. But like Senator Oliverio said, our infrastructure has not kept up with it. So the people up here want to see more infrastructure because of the growth in this area. And, it's not just about roads either. It's also about electricity and transmission lines. It's about water, and the entire infrastructure has to be improved. And I think the only way that really happens is through corporate growth, through increasing our economy by bringing jobs and businesses to West Virginia.
Roger Hanshaw, your leader in the House, has been increasingly critical of Governor Morrisey. Some of it is public, some of it I heard is private. A lot of this was based on Morrisey weighing into primaries, opposing people that backed Henshaw. I mean, how does that relationship work now with him? With each of them not really liking each other. He's a Speaker of the House. He's a leader. You guys got to get things done. Let's go to the House guys. Start with Gino. How does that thing work now with them at odds?
Well, I think we're unfortunately past the point of saying, oh, well, the governor needs to get his sea legs and figuring it out. Like, we understand tension might occur during the first session after a new administration. Everyone's trying to figure out their new role with the changed landscape. But as we go further and further in, it's starting to seem like maybe there's just a misalignment of priorities. So regardless of what the speaker thinks about the governor, I think that Roger's priority remains on productive sessions, productive members, passing the legislation that matters the most to not only his constituents, because he has constituents that he has to represent himself, but passing the bills that matter to the most people in West Virginia. We remain focused on the things that we believe are the most important. Senator Oliverio talked about our demographic crisis. We talked about jobs, growth, economic development. We need people to find as many reasons as possible, not only to stay in West Virginia, to work here and to move here from other places.
We've been talking about this demographic issue now week after week, and you guys have been doing this a couple months. And as I'm here in D.C. and I travel around, I ask people about West Virginia, and I just don't get anybody telling me they're going to relocate their business there or they're going to move there. I mean, I just don't see it from the people that I talk to, because I try to talk you guys up. I mean, is there a national campaign that we need to invest in? I mean, what do we need to do to get people to see the beauty of your state and the advantages of it to start to get their businesses there? I mean, I can't even get my own business there. I mean, it's hard to move our infrastructure, but even my wife is like, I'm not going there. Let's go to Florida. Like, why would you just go? I mean, it's just right there, right? I don't understand that. What do we have to do to get the image of the state turned?
I think the efforts in tourism have played a part in helping with that. People come and play, and then we want them to stay. And that's an effort of our tourism department that I think has been successful. We had a business on Friday from California announced they were shutting down operations in California and moving to West Virginia. And one of the reasons why they cited they were coming to West Virginia was because of our pension liabilities, which are very, very small. And so they were in California looking at all these employee benefits and costs and state government costs that were going to be laid on the businesses of California. And they said, hey, we're out of here. They looked at West Virginia and saw our public employees retirement system 101% funded. And they said, that's the kind of place where we want to do business, where we're not going to be the new company paying for the sins of the past. And I think you're going to see more of that, especially with our neighbors in Maryland and Virginia and the kind of taxation and policy decisions that are being made there now. We're right here. We're on the doorstep. Come on over. The water's warm. Put your feet in. I think you'll enjoy it here.
I mean, what you just said, Senator Oliverio, really makes a lot of sense because as companies, look, if you move your company to West Virginia, and I don't mean to be your guys, spokesperson like Gino's Heights spokesperson, but I can't help it because I love your state. I mean, it's just, and so I look at it and I'm like, okay, you're a business. You go there, you got a great quality of life for your employees. You're able to, the people that come in that want to buy a home or something with their company, land is cheaper, homes are more affordable. It's a gorgeous state. The taxes are low. I mean, the services are adequate. Utilities are going to come down as you guys get more gas and oil. You're going to have data centers, but that's just going to bring prices down because it's not going to be in anybody's backyard because of the land. We've already gone over that. And you guys don't want flock cameras. So I think that's the other good thing. For the life of me, I just don't understand why more companies aren't seeing what this cow company did and saying, for my long-term growth as a company and my employees, this is just like a great place to live and be there.
I think it's a perception. And I think Secretary Ruby did a great job when she was here of overcoming that perception that West Virginia is not a great place to live. And I think we just have to continue with that, try to tell the world, people around the country, that West Virginia is a great place to settle down and raise a family and to move your business to. We're business friendly, but to get all those things out. When people first hear about West Virginia, a lot of times their perception is, it's mountainous and they're hillbillies, and you got a lot of these perceptions that just aren't true. And it's our job to change minds.
Well, the other thing is you've got the best healthcare apparatus probably of any state in America with two major hospital and healthcare companies that are rated very, very high. And if you go to Morgantown, or if you're in that county, I mean, you're an hour and 15 minutes or so from Pittsburgh. You can still, go to major league games or go to Pirates game or Penguins game or something. It's not like it's that far. Steelers game. You got the university there. And then if you go to the other parts of the state, it's just gorgeous. So I would think that I would like to see the governor be more of a promoter for the state than I'm seeing this coming out of the governor's office. I would like to see that. And I think this governor
has tried to advance the theme of a backyard brawl, meaning we're challenging our neighboring states, and he's tried to advance that. I think that's a good approach. Many years ago, the FBI relocated a facility from Washington, D.C. to Harrison County, West Virginia, just a little south of where I live. And the first director, after hiring more than 1,000 people initially, now 2,500 or more, I asked him, I said, what's the biggest difference between doing business in West Virginia versus Washington, D.C.? And he said, well, to be honest, in Washington, D.C., we had a work-free drug zone. In West Virginia, we have a drug-free work zone. He said, these people show up for work. They come back every day. They're better and better. They're more loyal. They're not on drugs. And we're able to really do our function at the FBI. He said, in D.C., we had enormous turnover, just constantly hiring new people, firing people, failing drug tests out the door. And so if you are a company thinking about coming to West Virginia, do you want to come to a mostly drug-free work zone, or do you want to stay in an area where you have a lot of crime and a lot of challenges with your employees? We have the highest return to work ratio of any state in the country, meaning an employee in West Virginia is more likely to return to work tomorrow, next week, next month, next year than any other state in the country.
I just agree with you guys 100%. And I would just like to see more of an effort, more of an outreach effort. I know that when I lived in Virginia, but Governor McCall, who was a Democrat governor here, spent an enormous amount of time recruiting businesses to Virginia, and a big part of that, look, I'm be honest, is some obscene tax incentives. I mean, some of them were obscene, like no taxes for 8 years or something, but for corporate taxes. So he negotiated a lot of that as the chief executive of the state, but he got a lot of businesses to come here. Sometimes, guys, that's just what it takes to get started. Are you guys open to that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think, you mentioned the backyard brawl earlier, and that's what the governor, was pitching when he first came here. And I think all of us, including Leader Hanshaw, were very excited about hearing that. We wanted to get into a backyard brawl with the surrounding states. We wanted to do all the things necessary to get corporations to move to West Virginia so that we could stimulate our economy even further. However, in the nearly 2 years, the first 2 years our governor has been here, in my opinion, he has refused to step into the backyard. And if we're not going to get into the backyard, how are we going to have a brawl? So, we have to get back to fighting against these other states for business to come here.
See, I agree with that, Michael Haidt. I agree with you 100% because, I mean, that's what McAuliffe did to a very large extent. And that's what Glenn did for a certain extent as well. Glenn Youngkin, the former Republican governor, Spanberger's a waste. But those two did that. And I'm disappointed. I don't see enough, when I see Patrick go out to other states, it's on the campaign trail for candidate. And that's fine. But I'd like to see him going out, doing press conferences in areas where businesses are and talking about the benefits of coming to West Virginia, and then get an organization within his staff to put together incentive packages. Because, look, I mean, if I'm a business going to move and I've got 3 choices and one state is offering me a great package and the other one is just so, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to go with the better package. I mean, that's how Elon Musk built his trillion-dollar company, by going to states and wouldn't charge them any taxes like Nevada. Yep. So I just think we have to do a better job at that.
I think this is one of the greatest disappointments to come out of the last session and ultimately the 87th legislature is last year, this past session, the House had 4001. It was the first bill on our docket. Team West Virginia. It was an entity created to scour the company, market West Virginia from an economic perspective, and explain to every single person, every single business or corporation, whatever, that was willing to listen, why West Virginia works for them. It was able to work on specific deals and negotiate things, anything that we had to do to bring these companies here and make sure ultimately they benefit, our people benefit, jobs, income, fewer regulations for them, opportunities to grow. We have to be creative because we've said it plenty of times on this show. West Virginia's terrain isn't necessarily a blank canvas. We can't just prop up factory after factory here because our geography just doesn't support it. So we have to play to our strengths. We have to be creative with what we have to offer. So seeing Team West Virginia ultimately not make it through the political process, I think that was a big sting, but I would be shocked if it doesn't come back next year.
I mean, I think you guys need to do that, and I would like to. Look, Jim Justice. We talked about him for weeks. He's going to run for governor. I think it was at the state fair you guys had the other day. I saw him there. We talked about the Greenbrier last week, how he got that monkey off his back, which was brilliantly done. I mean, he is going to come back. He's going to run for governor. He's going to win. Much as I like Patrick, there's no way he beats him in a primary, guys. I'll just be candid. So you're going to get a new governor, but that doesn't matter. Right now, Morrissey's got an opportunity in this session coming up to really be able to showcase this. And I get when I was at the chamber last year, he made a really good speech. I'm not going this year, but it was a good speech. It was like 2050 and his energy, vision. And I'm like, okay, now you got a vision. I like that. But then that's not really being implemented either. So, I mean, you got to go out and do the work, guys.
I think his vision for 2050 involved increasing West Virginia's power production.
Right.
And we have seen some proposals to do that. Those will have to work their way through the Public Service Commission, and those often take a long time. I think he's pursuing that. The Justice Administration left about $400 million for economic development projects,
Right.
the kind of investment that you're talking about
Right.
with companies. And we're 19, 20 months into the Morrissey administration, and we haven't spent any of that yet.
That's my point. I mean, that's my point.
That's concerning. That's
Yeah,
very
well,
concerning.
That's what I'm saying. Look, guys, I come from the perspective. This is just not me talking, right? Ann and I, my wife and I, is a family-owned company. When it was all said and done in West Virginia, with everything we did, we invested $1 million. This is a small family company. We invested $1 million in West Virginia in 9 radio signals and office and land and equipment, and we bought new equipment and we hired people, because we believe in the state. And in order for us to be successful, other people have to come. That's what builds our audience and builds our business. And so we're sitting on $400 million. We haven't done squat. You know what? I would like to hire Terry McAuliffe. I'll get him in there. Be 9 months. He'll have 15 businesses there begging you guys to let him in. I mean, you got to go out and market the state, and we haven't done that. And so that's what's disappointing to me. Am I making sense? And I talk from a guy that invested $1 million in your state because I believe in it. So, I have some credibility here. That's why I have chagrin over the fact that we've not spent that $400 million on anything.
Well, I think we're disappointed as well. And I don't think it's for lack of going out and trying to recruit these companies in, because I think over the past couple of years, we've had an extensive effort to do that. I know the House itself went on many trips in different locations around the world to try to recruit companies back to West Virginia. And I thought we were being very successful. But when we bring those ideas back to West Virginia and turn them over to the economic development team in West Virginia, it just seemed like nothing would happen past there. It was just, if it wasn't a Morrissey idea, that it just didn't happen. And I don't care who gets the credit. I really don't. Just let's get it done.
It's called.
You can take the credit. I don't care if the House is the one that brought it in. If I'm the one that brings in a company, and Morrissey wants to take all the credit for it, I'm fine with that. Let's just get them here and get them to work.
Get her done. It's called NIH, not invented here. I mean, that's my whole thing. You bring these things back, and what people have been telling me is whatever they bring back, it gets stuck in some kind of governor's administration bureaucratic morass, and nothing ever happens. So and we're sitting on an ocean of coal. I mean, if you look at the state, I mean, there's so many amazing benefits here that we're not taking advantage of. All right, I got to get to politics. I'm going to start with let's reintroduce our panel. We've got Michael Haidt, West Virginia House of Delegates, District 92, the Berkeley area. We've got Delegate Gino Chiarelli, the Italian Stallion, West Virginia House of Delegates, District 78, Morgantown, and then America's favorite Italian senator, Mike Oliverio. I just kind of made that up, Mike. Mike Oliverio, my state senator, who actually returns your call, unlike my other state senator, who I don't even know his name, doesn't return calls or text or phone numbers, even though I'm his constituent. And so we need to beat him next time so I can get somebody in there who'll actually return my call. Now, Mike, tell me about your campaign, because I know you're in a tough race.
Yeah, this is a re-election to the state senate. It's District 13, which is Monongalia and Marion County, which is the Morgantown, Fairmont area. And we're working hard on our campaign, just like other candidates all across the country. We certainly encourage people to log on to our website, Mike Oliverio 4WV.com, and that 4 is FOR. Mike Oliverio 4WV.com allows you to learn a little bit more about me, allows you to learn about our campaign, some of my accomplishments. If you want to become a volunteer on the campaign, you can sign up. If you want to chip in and help us fund the campaign, I don't have to tell anybody listening to this show, campaigns are expensive. And when folks chip in, that helps us get our message out. But we're working hard. I've enjoyed serving in the West Virginia State Senate. I've told people it's an honor of a lifetime to be able to serve. And so we're, with the remaining days here until we start early voting, and then Election Day, November 3rd, we're going to run hard all the way through the tape.
All right. How's things? I know you've taken internal polls. How's things look?
They look good right now. And we just need to maintain that and build upon it. We need to reach out to folks who are undecided, encourage them to support our campaign. And more than anything else, I think this is a turnout election. There is a little bit more enthusiasm on the Democratic side, and I think they are prepared to come vote. We've got to get our Republicans out to vote. And in my district, a third of the people are registered neither Democrat or Republican. And so we've got to get them out to vote. Many of them have approved of the kind of work I've been doing in Charleston, and hopefully they'll come out and support us, and that will be more than enough to be successful.
When are we going to get you and Chiarelli to plan a big rally there, a big event, a fundraiser, and I'll come with the bus and I'll MC it. We'll get a bunch of people there. When are we going to do that?
I think we should do it. Let's do it maybe in September, early October. Get you out here. Maybe tie it into one of your football visits.
That's exactly what we should do. You guys need to plan that. Gino, you're also in, not as competitive as a situation as Mike is, but you've got a competitive race. You got to raise money and all that good stuff. Tell us about the Gino Chiarelli campaign. How's that look?
So I'd say things are looking pretty good for me right now. One of the biggest things that I'm trying to do now is just get in touch with the people that live in my district. Hearing the things that matter to them the most are always the most helpful to me, because the more of their ideas that I can take with me to Charleston, the more I feel like that resonates within the district, the more tangible change that we can get, the better it is for ultimately everyone. And I wouldn't say that my race is definitely not as competitive as Senator Oliverio's. However, it's Monongalia County. I don't want to take anything for granted here. This is still one of the remaining Democrat hotspots, so I can't rest on my laurels just yet. And also, the better that I do in my election, it's likely that the better Senator Oliverio will do in his, because our districts overlap about 95%. His voters are my voters are his voters. So us working together, activating them, getting them to the polls is going to matter the most, because we have a competitive county commission race here as well. So Republican turnout is going to be critical. And I know that Monongalia County can elect Republicans countywide, because Congressman Riley Moore won Monongalia County during his last election by a very, very sizable margin. So I know they're here. We just need them to wake up.
Tell us about your county commission race.
So it was initially projected to be just a regular run-of-the-mill race. However, the incumbent Democrat county commissioner lost his primary election to someone that was not prepared to win by any means. So she leans on the more radical side. I don't think that she has the experience necessary. County commission, I think that you really have to be familiar with numbers and budgets and a lot of the fine print details that I don't think she has. Frankly, I think it would be a disaster to have her win. So we are all in on Ron Lytle, who is a former school board member, been very, very active in Monongalia County. I'm all in on him. Anybody that I talk to about Senator Oliverio, I'm sure to mention Ron Lytle as well, because people don't know this a lot of the time. It maybe not as sexy as DC politics or anything like that, but your local representatives, especially your county commission, the people that make the decisions that impact your day-to-day life, they're found in your county seats far more often than they're found in Washington, D.C.
So when we get offline, I'm gonna ask you to give me Ron Lyle's contact information. I'll get him on next week. What do you think?
Sure. We love it.
Let's go. Anything to help our county commissioner. This is in I always get a hard time saying Monongalia County. Someday I'll get it right. Dan, I've said that wrong. I've been there 4 years, I still can't say it. It's like trying to say Maria's name. I was screwed up. Anyway, what's the makeup of the Monongalia County Commission?
Monongalia County Commission
Monongalia.
currently is 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. I'll give them credit. Our county commission has done very, very well. Regardless of the partisan makeup, I have no problems talking about how well they're doing their jobs. I like them. However, with this change in pace here, with Jeff Arnett, the incumbent Democrat, losing his primary election, and this new lady coming onto the scene, I don't think that she's interested in the same things that Jeff Arnett was. If it was Jeff Arnett versus Ron Lytle, well, that's a legitimate toss-up. Okay, I get it. Now, I'm all in on Ron 100%. I was always going to vote for Republicans regardless. That's just, I'm a team player. But I think the dynamic has definitely shifted, and it makes the race 10 times more important than it was before.
Height, do you have these kind of competitive races going on in your own county?
Sure. I think the Anders race is competitive. I think you look at Chuck Horst, his district right now is pretty competitive, and I think that's only because of the data center going on in his district has made that competitive. I think the big problem you run into in Berkeley, where I think the Republicans outnumber the Democrats, but I think the problem you get is turnout. Berkeley County in the past 5 or 10 years, for some reason, has just had terrible turnout when it comes to elections, and I'm not sure why. As we have grown, our turnout has gone down. So I'm hoping that people will get to the polls and that Republican advantage we have come through.
Tell us about last week. We talked about the invasive nature of these flock cameras. We had a pretty spirited debate. Anders, me, and Rose on one side, and a couple of you other guys were, you want to keep an open mind to it. There are benefits to it. What have you heard in the past week? Because I know this is going to be an issue as you go forward into November. What have you guys heard? What are your constituents saying about the flock cameras being installed in the Mountaineer State?
Well, right here in Monongalia County, speaking of the county commission, a woman who's known for her antics out in public got thrown out of the county commission meeting because she was making her case against flock cameras. I don't necessarily believe that she was there personally because she cares about flock cameras. She's a hyper leftist public agitator, so her motives I think are relatively unclear, but doesn't change the fact that people are talking about flock cameras. They continue to do so. I will keep an open mind in the sense that if you can show me a policy proposal where it aligns privacy rights of individual citizens with the ability to empower law enforcement, I think that we could talk about it. However, if the caucus produces a bill, hey, we're not going to abide by this. We're going to stop any government agency, any local municipality, whatever, from owning flock cameras. We want to ban them. I'm going to go along with that. So if you could show me a proposal that makes sense, okay, I'm on board. But if the body wants to ban it, let's ban it.
Anybody else want to weigh in?
Yeah, the interesting thing about flock cameras is we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There has been a number of states already that have passed legislation or guardrails concerning flock cameras, and we can visit those and see which ones are working before we dive into it. And I think we can do that this session and put the guardrails in place if we're going to have them at all. I'm not a big fan of flock cameras, but if we're going to have them, if people want to have them, there have to be some substantial guardrails.
Well, look, I'm always suspicious of what the guardrails are because whatever they are, this is what we encounter with the Patriot Act. There are all kinds of guardrails, and then basically every text that Mike sends his sister gets put in some vault in South Dakota. So, you know what? They say one thing, they do another. You give government more surveillance opportunity. It just doesn't turn out good. So we'll have to see what happens. But look, I am open to you guys having the discussion of the debate here. We're with Senator Mike Oliveri from Morgantown. This is the West Virginia Mountaineer Mavericks. We are with Gino Chiarelli, House of Delegates member from Morgantown as well, and from Berkeley, Michael Haidt. All right, guys, let's get to my favorite topic, West Virginia University football. So you guys better be up on this because it's all anybody's talking about, man. I mean, you go there, everybody's fired up about Rich Rod. We got him on today live at 1 o'clock. He's fired up. And a lot of people excited, guys. I got to give a little plug here for the premiering of our tailgate show, which is going to be Mountaineer Tailgate, 2 hours before every Mountaineer game, home or away. Home games, the bus is going to be there, and it's from the press box to the parking lot. This is the People's Show. And by the way, all of the three on here are proud sponsors of our pregame show and our football program. Michael Haidt, Gino Chiarelli, Mike Olivero. Thank you guys for doing that. Chris Rose is co-hosting, your buddy. So, and we just want to get all you guys on because it's going to be fun. But we got Rodriguez on today. I just want to get you guys the thoughts on this, right? So he's old school, right? So he has a practice the other day, and this is the first question I'm gonna ask him today. If he's tuned in, I'll tip it off. He has a practice, and he does a press conference after the practice, and he really blasts the physicality of the team. And he said, "We got a bunch of we got some pansies, we got some powder puffs. They're not hitting hard. They're not." He kind of goes off on them, and today's a little bit different than when he first broke in. We got NIL and people a little more sensitive. They can leave. They have options. They have portals. Did he go over the top on it, or is it just Rich Rod being Rich Rod? Anybody jump in?
I think Rich has an expectation of the team playing with tremendous physicality, and that's his expectation. And if he sees something differently than that, he's going to point it out, and they're going to understand what the expectation is. We had Bob Huggins as a basketball coach for years, and if you wanted to play for Bob Huggins, you had to play defense. It was just understood. So the guy wasn't playing defense. He had a front row view of the game sitting on the bench. And with Rodriguez, it's physicality, it's toughness. John, there is a hill next to the football stadium that goes up to the West Virginia University College of Law. And Rodriguez will have those players running up and down that hill, to the point where he's getting every ounce out of them. And I think that's what he expects. And, he's coached at major football programs all over the country, whether it was Clemson or Michigan, Arizona, Tulane, West Virginia University, some smaller schools like Tulane. He has seen what it takes to win, and he will demand that of his players. And if players don't want to do that, it's fine. They can go somewhere else.
I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think different coaches motivate their players in different ways, and I think Rich is probably old school, where he has come out now publicly and challenged the manhood of his players. And I think that's the way he has chosen to motivate them, because he's questioned their manhood. Get in here, get tough, or leave. That's my philosophy. I want tough football players, and if you're not tough, then you don't need to be a Mountaineer.
You agree with that, Gino? Because times have changed, and kids now they have options. They get NIL money. They're all making big bucks and stuff like that. We'll get to the whole NIL thing in a minute. But do you think in today's environment, Gino, that is going to work?
I don't think anybody that's going to be playing for Rich Rod expected some sort of positive reinforcement model or psychological coddling of any kind. When they talk about the hard edge, they're talking about running up and down the law school hill until they can get wrung out like they're a wet dish rag. So I think that what it ultimately will turn into, I guess we're just going to have to see. But I do think that there is still a space for that old school type of coaching. When I think about old school types of coaching, I think about my earliest memories watching the Steelers. I think about Coach Cowher. He wasn't smiling and jumping up and down on the sidelines with pom-poms. he was busting clipboards. So I think that kind of stuff still has a place in football.
You guys
that took him to Super Bowls and to the Hall of Fame.
You guys know your football. I got to tell you, man. And by the way, just so everybody knows, it's like my other shows here. There's no rundown. There's no prep. Nobody knows what the issues are, which is what makes it fun. So somebody asked me for a rundown. I cut him off the panel. That's basically the way I go. And you don't need no stinking rundown. You guys are there every day. But you guys knowledge of football, I got to say, I don't impress easy. Your collective knowledge, I'm impressed. So, but I think what Rich Rod is trying to do is he's going to develop a culture, and he's going to attract those types of players. And if you don't want to do that, you just ain't going to go there. You go somewhere else, right? So this NIL thing, guys, I mean, it's not going to be state by state. This thing is a mess. We've got now players that have NFL contracts that are going back to college. We've got some states like Louisiana have 16 players coming back. Other judge ruled in Colorado they can't come back. We don't know if there's 5 years of eligibility starting at 22 or 23. The football season is starting. One judge in Louisiana wants to reopen the portal. We're starting a week. What is the deal? Somebody just close us out. This thing is chaos.
It's all going to come down to a Saturday in the fall when they kick off the ball, put on the helmets and shin straps, and whoever's there is there, and you play and you do the best you can. And you might have a player on your team that's been in camp for a week. I mean, he's been there a week, but maybe he's the best wide receiver you have. So I think it's going to be a crazy, unusual season. I think teams with good coaches and good leadership are going to fare better in this very unstable environment. The real advantage we have at West Virginia University are the facilities. Mm-hmm. The facilities that we have at West Virginia University are phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Paul Skeens, the best pitcher in Major League Baseball, he comes to WVU for his training. Yeah. Our football facilities are phenomenal. I mean, I've toured the facilities over there. And so any student that's really interested in playing for a D1 program, a Power 4 conference, they're going to come in at WVU and look around and say, wow, I want to play here. And if there's a coach that pushes them, that's all the better.
News Talk Sports right here. This is your sports panel for WVU football. You guys are good. Very, very impressive. Well, we'll see what happens. Rich Rod today live 1 o'clock. That's it for the Mountaineer Mavericks. For Michael Oliverio, my state senator, Gino Chiarelli, my House delegate, and Michael Haidt, who I wish I was his constituent from Berkeley. I want to thank all you guys for being with us. And for Chris Anders, I never got those names, dude. Don't come on my show and throw stuff out, and then 3 weeks later I got no names. Don't do that. Not cool. John Fredericks Media Network, Rich Rod, 1 o'clock.